now. Hello, the one person who's here. You may have noticed that I have a guest with me at the moment, and you told me the full online username that you had, but I know you usually shortened it to Zabz. I don't recall what the full name of it was, but I don't think that matters. But yeah, this is my IRL friend. He prefers to go by Zabz.
I think they can tell by the design of the bunny. If you're a Naruto fan, I'm sure you can guess what Zabz is short for. Also, I wanted to wait till we were on to point this out.
Yeah.
But I really fucking love, if I can cuss.
Yeah, it's an 18+ stream. I don't care.
How you put IRL friend in all caps with an exclamation point.
Yeah, as if I have holy shit, I have friends in real life. Oh, it's Anne, and it's that. I call her Anne on here because I have slipped up and added an extra letter before, but I don't think she cares either way. Hi, Anne.
But yeah, that just got me when I noticed it. I was like, no, I gotta wait.
Absolutely. I was hoping it would tickle someone. I didn't expect it would tickle you. It's so good. A real friend. It kills me. Okay. But yeah, this is Zabz, and I'm gonna check and see who all we have in chat. I've been told that proper streamer etiquette is that you don't name off the people who are in your chat, because some of them might just be lurkers. Although it's hard to tell which ones are bots and which ones aren't. Like this one I can't tell. This one I can't tell. That one's a little more obvious. But yeah, it's hard to tell. But technically I only have one viewer, and that's Anne. But still, let's go ahead and switch over to not Spotify. There we are. We saw the Flash movie last Saturday, and the reason I went to see it is because I had woken up that Saturday fully expecting to just lay in bed and play Tears of the Kingdom the whole time, and then Zabz messages me. He's like, "Hey, you want to go see the Flash movie? I'll pay for tickets." I'm like, "Sure, why not?" Free movie tickets. Why not? It's a free movie viewing experience with cheap Chinese food that was very delicious. Can you spell that name out? Yeah, I certainly can, Anne. Hold on just a second.
No, it's a Z.
Oh, it's a Z. Okay, my bad.
Z-A-B-Z.
Zabz. There you go. Zabz. I also like it how it looks like the rabbit is looking at me and I'm looking away as if I don't want to admit something. He's like, I know what you did. It's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, not dabs. Although that probably would have been a good one too.
Oh no, that would have been awful. Now, your artist friend would have drawn the rabbit dabbing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%. Speaking of artist friend, it was drawn. Oh, damn it! Hold on, I need to actually go to Messenger to copy that link that you sent me. Where are you? There you are. But they go by Imbecile on Imbecile. Is it meant to be a put on imbecile?
I guess so.
And Michelle, I don't know. Anyway, they go by Imbecile on Instagram, and there is the link for their Instagram. I actually already followed them, and he linked me to their page. I was like, oh yeah, I already follow this person. But yeah, they make very cute art, and apparently, how long did you say that the drawing of the rabbit took?
She said it only took her 20 minutes, and she just wanted to see what it would look like.
That's fucking great, dude.
Yeah.
That's a very very quick work ethic. I'm gonna move you over here so I can see the logo a little bit.
That's fine.
Okay, cool. But yeah, the Flash movie was a lot better than I thought it would be. I fully expected it to be a cash grab. I had no idea it was in production hell for, what you said, 10 plus years?
Just about,
but
yeah.
We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I legit just thought it was going to be super generic like all the other DC movies had been except Wonder Woman. But I was pleasantly proven wrong, and it was a very fun, emotional roller coaster. And based on what I vaguely recall you telling me in high school about what happened in the comic events that inspired the movie, it seemed to align fairly closely, with some changes, I think. I still remember the comic storylines that you've info dumped on me like 12 years ago. Well, no, 11 years ago, excuse me.
Yep, one thing.
Yeah.
I never actually asked what your streamer name is, but it essentially just breaks down to always dog.
No. Not always. Okay, so... That's I took away a letter. Add an N.
I mean,
it's a combination of two names of two OCs that I have, Econ and Inu. Inu is dog, yes. Mm-hmm. I have a cat. It's a cat. He's a cat named Dog because haha, funny joke. And Econ because there was before Google actually incorporated Romanji into their Japanese translations. I had to find a different website to translate into English to Romanji, and I started Googling different names that might be cool. And I tried to find the Japanese word for link or some form of it, and according to eudict.com or .eu or something like that, the Japanese word for a link is econ, which is where econ came from. And I know one of my former online names. For some reason, I was really proud of being weird in high school. And so I tried to find Romanjis for the word weird. And there was one that I found that was kind of long, and it meant extremely weird, which is Saizetsu.
Well, Ika doesn't mean that in Japanese, though.
I know. It's called a portmanteau.
Yeah, no, I was looking at the wrong definition. In Japanese, it means to go past.
Ika or econ?
Ika.
Okay.
It means to go past. So
way past dog.
So yeah, like if you use it, it's like past dog.
Way past dog. It's so funny. What's also funny is going into people's stream who have either never said my name out loud before or have never seen my username before, and it is so amusing to watch them struggle to pronounce it. It's also just as amusing to whenever they get it right the first time. They're like, Ikainu? And I'm like, yeah! You fucking got it, hell yeah.
It's also fairly close to Akainu.
A little bit, yeah.
Which means red dog, and it's the name of one of the fleet admirals in One Piece.
I knew I had heard that before, but yeah, okay. We're getting off topic.
Yeah, well, anyway.
But yeah, so the basic events of the... By the way, and just a fair warning, this will be a full spoiler discussion. We're probably going to do like a basic overview of the events of the movie. But the essential plot synopsis is it's an adaptation of Flashpoint, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Barry Allen is working in his job as a forensic analyst. Or is it just a forensic scientist?
Forensic analyst is close enough.
Okay, as a forensic analyst, analyst, what? That's fine. I don't care about spoilers. Fantastic. But yeah, Barry. I just said his name, and I've already forgotten his last name.
Barry Allen.
Thank you, Barry Allen. I hate when that happens. Barry Allen is working as a forensic detective, because I already forgot the other fucking name I said. Forensic analyst. And the only reason why he went into forensics is because whenever he was a child, his mother was killed in their home while his dad went out to get some canned tomatoes. But because he could never establish his alibi, because of security camera footage that showed him, he never lifted his head, so you couldn't see his face. So he was charged with his wife's murder for years, and Barry was doing his best to try to to try to like either overturn the verdict or like prove his dad was innocent. And his dad's been in jail for years at this point. And he gets a call from his dad saying that essentially like the outlook's not great, but I want you to live your life. And at this point, Barry is like he's outside of his house at night, like reminiscing on old times, and we see a very nice flashback of how his mom was and everything. What?
First, I want to get in a little bit of just general flashback story for people who might not know.
I was actually about to get into that about the flashback that it shows.
No, I mean like just general, like just in the comics in general, and how this ties and how what they've adapted ties into the movie. The general back.
Should we explain the story of the movie first or the comic books first? Because I'm not sure which one would add better context.
Well, I mean, for people who don't know who the Flash is or his origin story,
that works. Yeah.
Basically, what it boils down to is that when Barry was around 10 years old, this is the most of the time this is the origin story for the comics, or at least the modern version of the character. When he was around 10 years old, his mother was murdered, and his father had the blame pinned on him, which is usually the driving element that made him become a forensic scientist and study so hard in school, and leads him down the path that will eventually get him struck by lightning in his lab one night and turned into the Flash in the first place.
Sorry, I was just going to mention that correlates with what happens in the movie as well. It explains how he gets his powers a little later, but continue.
This is seen in almost every adaptation of The Flash, even in the CW version, which is the one that most people like nowadays when it comes to live action. It's still about his mother being killed. They don't touch this aspect in the movie, but usually it's by Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, who is a man from the future who hates Barry to the point where growing up, he would just randomly push him over to untie his shoes, fucking push him down the stairs, just petty shit.
And some of you may have seen a meme involving Eobard Thawne from...
Go ahead and put it on screen.
Oh, yeah.
It's from the Flashpoint movie.
Oh, okay, so it is from the Flashpoint movie?
The animated movie.
The animated movie, got it. Oh, I really want to fucking show that. It was me, Barry. No, come on, work properly, please. No, please. Okay, so I'm gonna... Don't worry about that was just the catty corner. It was me, Barry. Every time I think of that fucking phrase, I'm just reminded of that.
Oh,
fucking... Yeah, keep talking while I'm working
real
on
quick,
this. Yeah.
Do you have a headphone in or something? Do I show up real good on the sound?
You show up just fine on the sound, because this is where the microphone output is at, and your output is it about the same as mine is?
Okay, I just want to make sure that I was, still being able to be heard properly.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is the meme.
I'm looking for the meme version, unless this is the meme version.
Well, Thawne, in modern versions of the Flash, Thawne is tightly tied into the Flash's origins and things like that, and he's just a dude from the future who wanted to be the Flash so much that he replicated the accident that gave Flash his powers, and then tried to be a hero, but would orchestrate the events that would have him save people in the first place.
Nuki, what's up, Nuki? I think I need another cup of coffee. Dude, you haven't slept in like a day. I think you need sleep, but I appreciate you coming by. We're talking about the Flash movie, and also Zabz reminded me of the "It Was Me, Barry" Flash meme, and I really want to try to find it, because it fucking kills me every time I watch it because of the outlandish shit that he says.
Well, anyways, to people who are just, the first time, because this is my first time on stream, I'm Zabz, the Ninja Bunny. Just, if you haven't been able to tell.
What? Tell what?
I'm introducing myself.
Okay, sorry.
Zabz the Ninja Bunny.
Yeah.
From the Hidden Mist Village.
The Hidden Mist Village of the Hidden Carrots. No,
No, I am from an alternate universe where everybody is animals, okay? So Naruto's a literal fox, Gaara's an actual tanuki.
and there's a villager that runs around telling people to say weird phrases.
Yes.
It's Animal Crossing meets Naruto. It's Naruto Crossing. Anyway, I'm going to turn this up a little bit so the stream can hear it.
It was me, Barry.
What are you talking
I made
about a
the
carrot?
bunny with fewer sexual features so that you wouldn't be horny and reduce your blood flow to make you a millisecond slower. Slow enough for me to kill Iris. Remember when you were making out with your first girlfriend? And you came right as she touched your leg? It was me, Barry. I jerked you off at super speed so it'd seem like you nutted at just a woman's touch.
Oh my god, it fucking kills me!
You're peeking your microphone.
Oh, I know, that happens a lot. Welcome to it. Oh, I apologize if I peeked that. Oh, shit. So you had nutted at just a woman's touch. Holy fuck, dude. Oh, that's the fucking it was me Barry meme. And it, oh my god, it cracks me up every time I see it.
And it purposely encapsulates Dawn's motives, though.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, you're good, man. Just get another
How's it
energy drink in you.
I counted I haven't slept in 42 hours. Good lord, Nuki. I think he's been running on Mexican... Wait, have you been running on Hispanic coffee or, like, regular coffee? Because I've been told that, like, Hispanic coffee is, like, super... Like, one specific type of Hispanic coffee. Is it Puerto Rican coffee? I don't want to be presumptuous, but, like... I've been told, according to Iron Mouse, that some form of Hispanic coffee is, like, super strong. Both Mexican and Puerto Rican coffee are super strong. Fantastic, Nuki. Thank you.
I mean, that's it. That is kind of where coffee beans are imported from, are in the Central Americas.
Yeah, and Cuba's around there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, you know how bad I am with geography. My initial, but I don't have a bed. I don't have a bed at them. Motherfucker, what? Do you not have a seat you can sit down in, or like a table that you can like sleep like people do in class, where they put their arms on the desk and like use their arms as a pillow? I get that's not the most comfortable thing, but hey, you work with what you got. Oh, we're getting on tangents again. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, like we were talking about earlier, apparently the Flash's origins that they show in the movie is accurate to the comics.
Yeah, to an extent, but pretty much. Like,
Okay.
you know, little things like the ethnicity of the character, which is not really that big of a deal.
It's not important at all. At all. We could go on a whole diatribe about the fact that some people think that what race a character is that important. Anyway, Barry's standing outside his former family home talking to his dad on the phone, and his dad's like, you know, his dad's starting to lose hope because it's like the evidence against him is mounting, despite it's not really evidence, it's more so just a lack of evidence.
Well, it's...
They get security camera footage, and they see what's supposedly his dad on camera, but because he never lifts his head, they don't actually see his face.
Well, in the movie, the all the evidence, it kind of points to him because he's the only person at the scene. His fingerprints are on the knife.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
That's fair, yeah.
no eyewitnesses.
Of course not. Almost as if the person who stabbed her was at supersonic speed. Oh, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But Barry starts to become emotionally unstable, and he gets real upset, and he's like, "I gotta go," and he's like, "I gotta go, Dad," and then he just starts running as fast as he fucking can. And should we save a special segment for the way he runs?
I mean, if you want to,
Okay.
we are doing broad strokes right now with the plot of the movie.
Yeah, okay.
We're skipping a lot.
Well, I mean,
you're skipping a lot, but we'll go back into that.
Yeah, like as it becomes relevant, we'll go back into smaller details. I just want to get the overview out of the way. He runs into and the effect where he runs so fast that he starts to run into. How would you? Oh wait, hold on. I haven't seen any of the Flash or heard anything about it, but I have this feeling that there's a second Speedster's traveling through time trying to prevent the Flash from being the Flash by ruining his childhood. There was a comic book line about that, but I don't think that's specifically what this movie was about.
Not the movie, but she is right overall. That is what that's what Dawn's ultimate goal is to ruin Barry's life.
Yes.
Starting from his childhood.
Yes.
That's why Dawn went back in time and killed Barry's mother to make him suffer.
But there's no concrete evidence that Eobard Thawne. There's no evidence that Eobard Thawne is around in the movie, other than the fact that, like, if you know how Barry's mom dies in the comics, you're like, oh, maybe. Anyway, how would you describe what he runs into? Like he runs so fast, and then the area around him turns like a dark blue, and the CG effects makes him stretch like fucking taffy.
Well, that's meant to represent him breaking the space-time barrier and going into the time stream.
Okay.
Where
the time stream is him inside that bubble.
Or they call it the Chrono Bowl.
Oh, okay. Got it. So yes, Flash runs so fast that he breaks the time stream and goes into what Zabz just described as the Chrono Ball, which is just like in the movie is this like orange yellowish orb, and surrounding him is like, I'm not even sure how you would describe it. That what he is surrounded by. You know what vibe it gave? If you've ever seen images of those really old college medical examiner, you know how they used to do surgery on people in the middle of colleges, and they had like the really high college seating.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you would describe that.
It's a stadium seating.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. It reminded me of small stadium seating that was surrounded him in a circle.
What the Chrono Bowl is meant to represent is like film editing. So like, you know, you have your different frames,
yes.
and then like you can move the frames to the point where you want to be. That's how time travel works in the cinematic universe for the Flash.
Which is a really cool idea. And one of the first things I noticed about the chronosphere and the timeline thing that they showed is that I initially thought that the CG on the still quote unquote frames of time in Barry's life looked like real fake or not so detailed. But I looked at it and I was like, there's no way that they did that on accident. And then you apparently mentioned an interview where the director said that was intentional.
Yeah, they said that they wanted him to look like wax figures, which fits in like more of like, since it's supposed to be more like this gallery space where he can choose the moments. Yeah. So in that kind of sense, it fits as an aesthetic. I mean, that could have they done better on the stuff? Yeah, but then again,
100%.
this movie has been cut up a couple times, and
this movie's been like what, 10 plus years in the making?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can find Chrono Sphere. I wonder if they actually
Chrono
have.
Ball.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Chrono Ball, not Chronosphere. Bowl or ball?
Bowl.
Bowl.
Like Super Bowl.
Okay.
Chrono Bowl. Chronosphere is a whole different thing.
Yeah. That's a portion of it, but he doesn't really know what it is, and it doesn't show it.
Hold on. Are you trying to look for pictures, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for pictures of the Chrono Bowl from the movie because I have no clue how to describe it. But yeah, that's a picture of him like, that's him in the Chrono Bowl because you see the sort of shield around him, but it won't show. It won't show the circle stadium seating looking thing. Because whenever I first saw it form, before I recognized it as his past memories, I thought it was like alternate versions of him sitting there judging him silently. Ooh, Silent Hill. Final Fantasy VIII. Could you imagine if they made 8 Silent Hills? That'd be crazy.
There are 8 Silent Hill games.
Are there a total of 8? I know they stopped numbering them after 4, so I lost count. And if you don't count the oh well, are you counting Origins?
No.
Okay. Let's see. So there was after 4, there was Downpour, Homecoming. Well, no, Origins does count because that's a prequel. Shattered Memories is the remake of the first one. So there's 7 Silent Hills, as far as I can remember, anyway. And I really want to try Downpour because I've been told that once they added in the patch for that game, that it actually was a fun game. But we're getting off topic. But yeah, anyway.
No, there are 8.
There's 8?
Yeah, there are 8, and then there's 2 to be announced.
Origins, Homecoming, Shattered Memories. Oh, hold on. Origins, Homecoming is the remake. No, Homecoming is not the remake. Shattered Memories, Downpour, Silent Hill 2 is the remake, and Silent Hill F is the one that's to be announced.
Yeah, but if you count the originals, and then those not counting 2 and F, it's still 8.
Don't count Shattered Memories, because like I said, it's a pseudo remake of the first game. Like, it doesn't really continue the story.
Anyways.
Anyway, we're getting off topic. Anyway, so Barry is in the Chrono Bowl, and he sort of realized. Whenever I first saw it, I couldn't tell if he had been there before, and so I wasn't sure if he knew where he was or not. But he seemed like he knew what he was doing.
Well, so I do need to bring up because I explained this a little bit to you before.
Yes.
In the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie.
Sorry.
I watched that.
I know.
The whole 8 hours of that. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
In the Snyder cut, he actually does. This is the first time canonically in the movies where he runs back in time.
Oh, okay.
He brings it up in the movie the first after the first time he goes to the Chrono Bowl because he only goes back 5 hours initially.
Yeah.
When he first does it, and he talks to Bruce Batman later in the movie. The Ben Affleck Batman.
Batman Wayne. Sorry.
The Ben Affleck Batman, he talks to him later on. He talks about how, he's like, the first time I only went back a second. This time I went back 5 hours. I could go back and I could save my mom. I can save your parents. And Batman is
Bruce is like, you don't want to do that.
He's like, just don't mess with time travel. You don't know what things that you can mess up.
Yeah, and he also brings up what would eventually become the overall message of the movie, which is he's like, well, I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, as much as it pained me to lose my parents, it made me what I am today.
Which is echoed in a flashback to Barry as a child when there's a scene with child Barry and his mom, and he's doing homework, and the question is, how many equations can you think of that'll equal this number? And he's just like, he's got like 50 different ones written down, and he goes, this question's impossible, and she goes, well, sometimes you just have to accept that there's not always going to be an answer.
Yeah, not everything has an answer. And at first, and sometimes you have to accept that. And at first, I was like, that sort of felt kind of defeatist. If one's mind went too vague with it. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess you can't find the answer. I guess you should just give up. But I don't think that's what they were intending the message to be. But I worry that some people may interpret it that way.
No, see, the overarching message of the entire movie is that sometimes there are things that we can't change.
That's it.
And we just have to accept that as a fact of life. Like, you can't change death. You can't do anything about that. Mm-hmm. People die. It's a natural part of life.
Yeah.
What causes the problems in this movie is him trying to prevent deaths.
Yes. You can't change. You can't stop inevitable cash grab remakes.
In a sense.
Anyways. Okay. That flashback actually happens It's the flashback that I mentioned previously, where he's standing outside of his old childhood home before he goes back in time. Anyway, so it's not confirmed, to me at least, that Barry has done this before, and he's like, okay, he's in a very negative emotional state, he's thinking irrationally, so he winds back time to when he was a child. And what happens in so the events that lead up to Barry's mom dying in the movie is they're making supper, and the recipe calls for 2 cans of tomato, but she accidentally forgot one whenever she was shopping earlier. And so she asks her husband to go out and get the second can of tomatoes. And while he's gone, that is when she's stabbed. And so what current Barry does is he travels back to whenever she's first in the supermarket. And so for context, in this movie, and I'm pretty sure it's like this in the comics, but when Barry goes incredibly fast, time seems to stop for him. And so he can just kind of, it's almost like it looks as if he freezes time, but he's just going so fast that everything stops compared to him.
This is a speedster ability called flash time.
Oh, okay.
All speedsters can do it, and essentially what they're doing is they're using the speed force to hyper accelerate their perception of things.
Got it.
So it gives them more time to think.
That's cool as fuck. So he uses that version of flash time in the movie to sort of freeze his mom in place. He grabs a can of tomatoes off the shelf, and he puts the second can of tomatoes in her shopping cart, and that's it. That's all he does. And then he gets back into the Chrono Bowl, and he goes back to what he thinks is his time.
No.
What?
He doesn't make it back to the current timeline.
Oh, really?
He doesn't make it back to the present. Because he gets pushed out of the time stream by the Dark Flash.
Oh, that's right. But we don't know it's the Dark Flash yet.
Yeah. Well, he gets pushed out of the timeline by something. You see what it is, but you don't know,
what it is. Yeah,
who it is.
Because I initially, before it was revealed, I thought it was a being that you had told me about back in high school, which was essentially the Grim Reaper for speedsters. And what are you doing? What are you doing?
Pulling up a visual.
You could have just told me to do it instead of getting up.
We'll type in Black Flash.
Okay.
No, you don't need the Flash movie. Just type in Black Flash. That's the Dark Flash. That is what the Dark Flash looks like.
Why do I keep getting fucking action figures?
Because there's not good pictures of the Dark Flash outside of the movie. But
Black Flash Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, Black Flash, who is essentially the death for speedsters. Regular death is too slow, so the embodiment of death created a special version of death just for speedsters.
Yep. Black Flash is what you're referring to. For some reason, I thought you were saying that the movie thing we see is Black Flash. But
No.
That's not.
It's called the Dark Flash.
Okay, my bad. But yes, this is Black Flash. And it just makes me think of the song Jumpin' Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones. Dark Flash.
There is a Dark Flash in the comics. He's just more like an anti-hero version of the Flash.
Oh, that would have been cool.
So they kind of changed it up a little bit for the movie version.
Yeah. It won't...
He doesn't look like that.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Well, no, like the...
This?
The comic version does not look like that. He's just like a regular speedster with a dark costume.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so this is as close as we get, as I can find, of Dark Flash in the movie.
It's a McFarlane figure. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll get to that in just a minute. So he gets pushed out of the Chrono Bowl by this thing.
Well, I can tell you the exact year if I Google when Man of Steel came out.
That's true. It was
2013.
He gets pushed in 2013?
Yes.
Okay. Wait, so that movie came out... Wait, so the events in that movie take place the year that it came out?
The Superman one, yes.
That's real fucking weird. But alright. Anyway. But yeah. He pushes him into 2013, and he doesn't realize it, and he sees his mom, and his mom's like, "Oh, cool, you changed your hair, and you seem so much older. You alright?" He's like, I'm good. I just missed you. And they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Because they have no clue what's happening. And then it is revealed that he accidentally shot himself into 2013, and his past self is still there. The past self from before he got his powers. Now, not only has he returned to the past, but he's also returned to a different version of his reality, but we'll get to that in a minute. It's actually a really funny whenever he meets his past self, because like he dives into his laundry, the older Barry, and like tries to find like a makeshift disguise. He winds up putting fucking underwear on his head, and he fucking tackles young Barry to the ground. And he's like, "Wait, I need you to stop," or something like that. Mm-hmm. He tries to knock him out, but he fails. And the younger Barry like pulls the mask off of older Barry, and younger Barry is like, "What does he say?"
It was something along the lines of, "Is this a relapse mushroom trip?"
Oh yeah, is this a relapse from a mushroom trip? It's because this is Barry, because younger Barry is Barry whenever he was still in college, and he's got big stoner energy, but he never really mentions drugs, but it's probably just for movie censorship reasons.
I mean, the mushroom thing is mentioning drugs.
True, but like, yeah, you get what I mean. Like, I guess that was like their one drug reference that they were allowed to make. Anyway, so like, older Barry explains the entirety of what's happened to younger Barry, and younger Barry's like, "Dude, that's fucking sweet," because he's lived with a mom his whole life. He doesn't understand the loss.
He didn't tell his younger version about his mother being killed in the alternate timeline.
That's true. Yeah, his mom. Yeah, he didn't tell him about why he came back in time, which was to save his mom. And so for a majority of the film, younger Barry sort of takes this all as like a fun adventure thing, and through a series of shenanigans, older Barry has to get his younger self to acquire his powers, because this is because midnight of that night is actually when younger Barry is supposed to get his powers, and the whole sequence of them sneaking into the college is fucking hilarious.
Actually, it's CCPD.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the college.
No, he was at that point in his life. He in the normal timeline, he was interning at CCPD and using their lab, their forensic lab.
Got it.
Because this Barry, the current Barry grew up with his mother.
Yes.
So he didn't.
I just call him young Barry.
Young Barry was not driven to go into forensic sciences, because he didn't have the drive to prove that his dad didn't kill his mother.
Yes.
So we don't know what he actually went into when he went into college in this timeline.
Oh, true.
But younger Barry is a prick.
He is kind of a prick, yeah.
And
he seems to take everything for granted.
A very, very spoiled brat. Like, there's a scene when the current Barry is explaining to young Barry about the powers and things like that, and all young Barry wants to do is for him to build a pillow fort around him at super speed, and the other Barry's like, "We need to be serious about this right now," and younger Barry goes, "Mom," and he's like, okay, shut up, we'll do it.
He fucking blackmails him into making him a pillow fort at supersonic speed. And also, while original Flash is cleaning up the pillows, he notices that a stuffed a stuffed monkey that original Barry had, even when the movie starts, like, you see him like holding it because it's the last thing that his mom bought him. The younger Barry in that alternate timeline uses the monkey for dart practice, mm-hmm. And that sticks in his mind for a little bit, but it's not immediately talked about until later.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go to CCPD so that younger Flash can get his powers. And that whole sequence is fucking hilarious because Original.
First, you have the phasing thing.
Yeah. So in the movie, and I'm assuming in the comics, speedsters can do what's called phasing, where they vibrate their molecules at a specific frequency so that it vibrates in between other molecules. I think.
Yeah, they vibrate their body at at such a high rate that their molecules can pass through solid objects.
Yes, and they can also do it to other people if they happen to be holding on to them. And older Barry carries younger Barry like bridal style. And they're like, for first, younger Barry's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Hold still," and then they phase through, and younger Barry's like, "That was fucking awesome."
The sequence that they do it, like how they do it too, is like really, really cool in a way, because like it shows young Barry's like head slowly going through the door, and then it zooms in on his eye as the eye is going through the door, and you can see the molecules coming apart and like going through the molecules of the door, and then like reconstituting themselves on the other side.
Yes.
And like the whole time his face is like in a look of horror and disbelief what's going on.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, that's like the coolest thing ever.
The only downside is that the CG looked like a PS3 game. Was not great, but was not horrific either. I mean, I was still able to suspend my disbelief. It didn't take me fully out of it. Anyway, so they get in there, and the audience is quickly under the assumption that they're gonna have to phase through every other door, and so they do it a second time. But the second time, younger Barry just hops. They're like, "Let's go," and he hops into older Barry's arms, and they phase through. The last door is to get into the main laboratory, and young Barry jumps into older Barry's arms. Excitedly, they phase through, and then the door slides open behind them. It's such a good fake out. I think that's what that's referred to. I don't know.
It is.
Okay.
It's at this point where Barry, where the current Barry tells young Barry, he's like, "Okay, so you need to stand right here. I'm gonna go open the windows up. I had the windows open."
And
he's like,
it's thundering and lightning outside.
he's like, "And then you're gonna get struck by lightning." And then younger Barry's like, "What? I don't want to get struck by lightning."
I don't want to get struck by lightning. It's like, "You want powers, don't you?" It's like, "Yeah, I don't want to get struck by lightning."
So like they fight back and forth, flipping around, and then, well, they both get struck by lightning essentially.
Yeah, the older Barry tries to like hold younger Barry in the chair, and as he's doing that, lightning strikes the chemicals, and the lightning strikes through older Barry, then hits younger Barry.
A nice little I think, they did this for a comedic effect, and it's there's a lot less comedy after this point in the movie.
True.
But like the biggest comedic part for this particular scene is that when the lightning goes through older Barry, it knocks one of his teeth. It
knocks
out.
older Barry's tooth out, and it goes into younger Barry's mouth. Oh god, that gave me the skeevies. Ugh.
And then old young Barry's just like they're like seizing on the floor.
They're seething on the floor, barely conscious. And they see a tooth between them, and I think older Barry picks it up first.
He's like, "Dude,
you lost a tooth."
You lost a tooth. He's like, "No, that's your tooth."
No. You're missing a very important and gross part. Younger Barry takes the tooth, puts it in his mouth, and then goes, "Oh no, wait, this is your tooth." And I'm like, oh.
But is it gross if it's your own tooth?
They're two separate bodies, which is why my brain associates it with grossness, but oh my god.
And he just takes a thing of super glue and glues it back into his mouth.
Oh god, which like, I feel like that's not how it's supposed to work, because like, on a normal tooth, there's like nerve endings in there, and you're putting super glue on it.
He made a noise like it hurt.
Okay.
Also, this is where a plot point starts that since the older Barry was also struck by the lightning bolt, younger Barry got his powers and older Barry lost his powers.
Yes, I still don't know how that happened. Did the bolt transfer the powers to younger Barry?
I think so in this particular instance. Okay. In the original Flashpoint, there weren't two of them.
True, yeah.
Also, in the original Flashpoint, he wasn't kicked out of the time stream too early. I'll be right back when you use the bathroom.
All right, cool. I'll continue with the summary. But yeah, from there, you start to get hints that this isn't exactly the original timeline that Barry had left behind or had entered into. It is because they're like, oh god, I'm starting to, or whenever they're before they get struck by lightning, whenever they're in younger Barry's room, older Flash or older Barry makes a reference to Back to the Future. He's like, yeah, it's like Marty McFly in Back to the Future. And younger Barry is like, dude, no, it's hold on, I need to look this up because originally, whenever Back to the Future was being shot, they had another actor in mind to play Marty McFly instead of Michael J. Fox. It was
Eric Stoltz.
Thank you.
Eric Stoltz is Marty McFly.
Yes, in this alternate timeline, Eric Stoltz is Marty McFly instead of Michael J. Fox. And Eric Stoltz was originally the guy who was going to play Marty McFly in legit in real life. They had plans to have Eric Stoltz play Marty McFly, but for some reason, I can't remember why, he wasn't able to do it. And so Michael J. Fox, while he was filming a sitcom at the same time, went on to be Marty McFly in the movie. But in the alternate timeline, I'm already blanking on his name.
Eric Stoltz.
Thank you. Eric Stoltz wound up being in the movie.
I can't believe that is a plot point. That Eric Stoltz is Marty McFly. Michael J. Fox was in Footloose instead of Kevin Bacon.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
Kevin
right.
Bacon was in Top Gun instead of Tom Cruise.
That's so fucking funny. I love that. It sort of comedify, if that's a word, the old time travel hypothesis where you can change one small thing, but it will have a butterfly ripple effect throughout the entire timeline.
Well, Marty McFly.
Did I say Marty McFly?
No. Like the dude when he was like, explain that to Marty McFly.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know. I forgot he named him that. So
This is fucking stoner dude.
Yeah. So after they get struck by lightning, they're taken back to younger Barry's apartment or / dorm room where he stays while he's in college. And they wake up the next day to realize that he has 3 roommates?
Yeah.
He has 3 roommates. 2 of them are younger versions of of original Barry's co-workers that were sort of bullying him earlier in the movie. And then there's this one fat dude who wakes up and they talk.
With Kyle?
I think his name might be Kyle, which is hilarious because I know a Kyle. They start talking about how Eric Stoltz is Marty McFly, and older Barry's like, "What are you talking about? No, it's not." And then Kyle lifts his leg to reveal an inner thigh tattoo of Eric Stoltz as Marty McFly, and he's like, and at first his leg is aligned with the couch. And so at first it looks like it's upside down. And it's like, dude, your tattoo's upside down. And he's like, oh, is it? And then he stretches his leg to where it's vertical, and the fucking tattoo turns right side up. And he says, "Tell that to Marty McThigh." Or no, wait, did he actually give it a name in the movie?
Yeah, he straight up says, because they're arguing. Barry's arguing with them over Eric Stoltz or Marty McFly being Marty McFly, and he goes, "Well, tell that to Marty McThigh," and he slaps it.
Yeah, that's right. And then later he lifts his leg at a 90-degree angle, which is really funny.
And then then Barry's sitting there and he's like, "Oh my god, he's like, Eric Stoltz is Marty McFly. Oh my god, I messed up the timeline." That's the thing that makes him realize that he did something wrong.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny.
And he's like, I just, and then, he finds out the Zabz coming back, and he's like, well, I just need to get the league back together. Okay, let's Google, Aquaman. Who Aquaman is, and he's like a mermaid, right? The other people are like, he's like a mermaid, right? He's like, no, he's not a mermaid. He's an Atlantean.
So yeah, he's a super mermaid. Yeah, because they you overhear on the news that this is the day, or this is the time when Zod comes back in the Superman movie that came out in 2013, and old Barry's like, oh shit. shit. And he happens to offhandedly mention Batman, and they're like, "Oh, dude, no one knows who Batman is." And I'm like, "Oh, he exists here?" And they're like, "Yeah, man, he's a legend." And so they're like, "Cool." And then, but every other superhero that he mentions, no one's heard of.
Yeah, like at first he's like, "Okay, so we'll find Victor," and he's like, "Is Victor's own cyborg yet?" And he Googles it, and he's like, "Oh, that hasn't happened yet." Wonder Woman. Anybody knows who Wonder Woman is? Well, she should be around by now. He said no record of that. And anyone knows who Aquaman is? And he looks up Aquaman's dad's number, and he's like, "Can I talk to Arthur Curry?" And he's like, "Why do you want to talk to my dog?"
Yeah, there's this random old man who's...
He's not random if you've seen the Aquaman movie. But,
oh, really?
Yeah, because he is Aquaman's father, because Aquaman is half human, half Atlantean.
That's right.
So that's why it's weird in this timeline. See, his father never met Aquaman's mother in the Flashpoint timeline.
Yes.
So he was never born. So Arthur Curry is the name of his dog. Aquaman's real name is Arthur Curry.
Oh, okay, got it.
Are we keeping track so far? People in the chat, you know.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone mention. I haven't seen anyone talking. Let's see who else still here. That's still here, and then Nuki just kind of pieced out. So we can keep going. This is usually how it is. Usually 1 to 2 people show up and chat every now and then.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, that I wasn't talking too fast or anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Plus, with your permission, I am going to upload this VOD to my YouTube channel.
Oh, sure.
Cool. And I'll send it to you and send it to your friends. You're on a real live stream in front of 1 of people.
I mean...
But yeah, so it's revealed that most of the heroes that make up the Justice League are not around in this universe. So he's like, "Oh God!"
Well, except for Batman.
Except for Batman, that's his one hope that that Batman is still around. And hold on, let's see. Oh.
I do love the joke because they I'll keep talking while you're doing that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like they actually go to they actually go to Gotham.
Yeah, they do.
And they get to Wayne Manor, and the younger Barry's like, "What is this, hell?" When they look at the Wayne Manor.
Wayne Manor is like all overgrown and almost said decapitated, dilapidated. Yeah, what is this, hell? It's stupid. And so they look around. They don't see anybody. A fire's lit, so someone clearly lives there. But
well, they make it to the kitchen.
Yeah, they make it down to the kitchen.
And they see that there's some spaghetti noodles boiling.
Yeah, they're like, what the hell? And then a cabinet opens, and then out pops what looks like a homeless lady that I thought so at first.
The beard, though.
I didn't see the beard at first. All I saw was the hair. Really long hair, long beard, and this old man just starts kicking both of their asses, except for young Barry, who has his powers now. And so he's just kind of dodging everything.
And then, young Barry just kind of dodges things casually, and older Barry, he just gets fucking owned by this old man, who they don't do the old man trope of, being a badass for a little bit, and he goes, "Oh, my hip," or anything like that.
Oh, yes, they did not do that. And you're about to, and whenever we, well, it's clear who it is. It's this version of Bruce Wayne. No, don't go to CNN. Open image. Anyway, so he initially has longer hair and a beard, but it's revealed that in this universe, Batman is, meta speaking, portrayed by, what's his name? I keep forgetting.
This is our first cameo. This is our first not technically our first cameo of the movie, because they had Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman near the beginning of the movie as well. Yeah. But this is Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton,
that's right,
portrayed Batman in
the 1989 Tim Burton film.
Was it 8? I thought it was 1980.
It was 89. Because every time I hear someone mention this film, his film on YouTube, they always call it the 89 Batman. I also have the original VHS tape down there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is the 89 Batman.
Anyway, yes.
Michael Keaton portrayed Batman in the 1989 movie that was directed by Tim Burton.
Yes, with the Joker played by Jack Nicholson, which is still funny to me, especially since he fell into rom-coms in the early 2000s. Anyway, this is a big meta reference for a lot of Batman fans in the audience, and in this version, it is technically like it takes place like years after the Batman movies. Or the Tim Burton Batman movies.
Well, it is heavily implied that this particular Batman is the Batman. Like, I mean, it's heavily implied that this is the same Batman from the Tim Burton movies, which took place in the same time that they were released in 1989.
Yes.
So this Batman was Batman in the 1980s and early 90s.
But he has since retired because, according to him, and I forget why, but Gotham is now one of the safest cities in the world.
Probably has something to do with the fact that he killed the Joker.
Did he?
In the 89 movie, he kills the Joker.
Really?
Yeah, he lets him fall off a clock tower.
I forgot about that. I have it on VHS and I forgot about that. So yeah, that might be why, yeah. Although I'm surprised that, like... But wait, there was also the sequel with the Penguin. That's also Michael Keaton.
Is it Michael Keaton?
Either
way, most of his villains die in the movie, the Tim Burton movie.
That's very true. Most of them do die. And so he's now mostly retired. He's just kind of a reclusive hermit now. And he sort of explains what's happening. Or Olderberry explains to him what's happening, but not... Isn't that the original movie Batman, the Vulture? And the Vulture?
Yes.
The original movie Batman was technically Adam West.
No, Adam West was TV.
TV, and he also had a movie based on a TV show.
He had a movie, but that's not what she meant.
Cinematic feature?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes. This was... and you get what I mean. You get what we mean. This was like the technical first like cinematic appearance of Batman, and yes, he also not Val Kilmer, Michael Keaton did play the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming. But anyway, the only way that they're able to stop Bruce initially is because younger Flash walks up to him and just kind of punches him, I think, and after that he's like, oh, you hungry? And so he makes spaghetti for him. And then Olderberry's like, I don't know how the fuck this happened. He didn't say fuck, but still. He's like, I don't know how this happened. Like, all I did was change one thing, and this shouldn't happen. And then,
Bruce.
I was gonna say the actor's name, but yes, Bruce explains what happened and how he got into this alternate timeline.
See, okay, so.
He uses spaghetti as a visual metaphor.
Fun fact about time travel in different franchises. Different franchises have time travel portrayed in different ways. Like in Dragon Ball, you have branching timelines from your points. And in Marvel, it creates different universes altogether, but still the same past, that kind of stuff. With DC, time travel is a bit more intricate in the fact that when you change something, it has a splinter effect, like shattering a pane of glass. The ripples go out in every direction, so it affects everything and not just the future that from that one point.
Yes, and according to the spaghetti metaphor, as performed by Bruce, some go out in wild directions, others happen to align with each other and go right next to and go side by side. And that's essentially how the timeline, or the new timeline was created. And I forget what their goal here. Oh yeah, that's right. Their goal is to form the Justice League to stop Zod.
Yeah.
And so Olderberry's like, dude, you have to help us stop Zod. He's like, I can't. I'm retired, dude. And but also what we mentioned earlier about the trope, about the trope that they don't use, about the old master initially being a badass and then you hear his back crack and he's like, oh, my back, I'm too old. Like, no, this does not happen, and I'm so happy that it doesn't, because like that would have been such a disappointment to see Michael Keaton's Batman. It would have been such a disappointment to see Michael Keaton's Batman just kicking ass for 2 seconds, and all of a sudden, oh no, my back.
You're getting the wrong Batman stuck in your head.
I know. I like Val Kilmer's Batman. I'm kind of disappointed he didn't make an appearance, but I get why.
I mean, he's got a hole in his throat.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I forgot he had a hole in his throat. You think they could have included him anyway and used that as a plot point?
No, he's got his health has declined a lot.
Oh,
I mean, he
okay.
was barely a cameo in the new Top Gun movie when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
There is a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff they cut out of the original Flashpoint storyline, which is probably for the best.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
Although I would have liked to see it. We'll get to the references later at the end of the movie.
this is not a reference.
Oh, okay.
This is the fact, like, one of the reasons I assume why they decided to not put Aquaman in this movie is because then they would have to touch on the plot point that in the original Flashpoint story that the Amazons and the Atlanteans are at war and Europe is a disaster war zone at the, like, beyond what was World War II.
Really?
Yes, between
Ew.
these two nations.
Shit. That sucks. But wait, there's so few Amazons, aren't there?
No, there's a whole island of them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like there's comparatively few Amazonians compared to Atlanteans.
The Amazonians were the ones who declared war.
I mean, race of warrior ladies, that feels about on brand for him. So that's not entirely a stretch.
Well, it's because that
They would have had to have fought Atlantean Willem Dafoe.
it's it's because Diana, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
was having an affair with Aquaman, and Mira found out about it, and she tried to.
Tread what? Oh wait. Both the Atlanteans and Amazonians got what they deserved at the end. Too bad it came at everyone.
They wiped each other out. It's mutually assured destruction.
How do you know what happened?
I don't know. She probably watched the Flashpoint movie.
What Flashpoint movie?
There's an animated Flashpoint.
Oh,
movie.
that's where the "it was me" Barry thing came from.
Yeah.
But Anne, I would love her to answer it. Anne, how the hell did you wait? Did they actually wipe each other out?
Yeah. See?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. She saw the movie. You saw that? Well, never mind. The Flash movie's still in theaters, so it's too early to say you never watched the Flash movie. You know, I'm getting off topic.
No, the storylines is wildly different from the animated movie and the comic book to where you would never guess how the story would go. For the live action version of these events, so
I'm kind of glad that they didn't include the war. It seemed kind of pointless, like a whole ass war over an affair. Goddamn, man.
well, it's the fact that Mira tried to kill Wonder Woman for it, only to get her head cut off, and that delivered back to Aquaman. And to save face, Aquaman pretty much had to declare war on them for them to declare war on him. Because she decapitated their queen.
Yeah, because their queen went all angry wife on them.
She cheated. He cheated on her.
I was about to add, which is a somewhat understandable thing, but also you're dealing with super people.
She's an Atlantean too. She's actually from a different tribe of Atlanteans.
Wonder Woman's an Atlantean?
No. Mira was.
Oh, okay.
She was actually from a different tribe of Atlanteans that could manipulate water and make weapons out of them.
Yeah, I know, but like water manipulator, demigod. For those who can't see, I'm doing a scale where you weigh two invisible objects.
You should just have like fucking gifs queued up, so like you could just like bring it over real quick to just like.
But like I don't usually do that often. But anyway, so older Barry begs old man Wayne
To help them find Superman.
to help them find Superman, and Wayne's like, who the hell is that? So Superman has not been found yet, either that or been covered up in some way, and Bruce is like, oh, I'm too tired, I can't help you, and so they walk away from the manor, and they sneak into the Batcave. And it is revealed that it's the same Batcave from the Tim Burton Batman movies.
Yep.
Complete with old Batmobile.
And the fucking Batplane.
Yeah, and the Batplane. Although I'll call it a jet, but we're splitting hairs. And
Technically,
so
it's called the Batwing, but
that makes more sense. And so older Barry gets onto Bruce's computer, and it's like all dusty and shit. It's great. It even has a fucking trackball from fucking the late 80s, early 90s. It's so funny. And also Older Barry spends the entire night looking for like instances of downed meteors, I think.
While young Barry is being insufferable, running around the cave, and at one point he's like, "I almost died falling into an endless dark pit."
Yeah, he sprints and almost falls into the pit from the plinth / pedestal that the Batmobile sits on, and he's like, "Oh, I almost died! Oh, awesome!" or some shit like that.
There is No, we'll get back to that later. Broad strokes.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, and so at one point, Older Barry has just had enough of Younger Barry's bullshit, and so he starts going off on him, being like, "You are insufferable. You talk too much." He says this while yelling, obviously, and you like this. Do you have any idea how serious this is? People are going to die, etc., etc. And he brings up the fact that he used the monkey Stuffy as dart practice, and he actually it turns out Older Barry actually brings out the monkey.
Yeah, because like young Barry's just like, "Dude, why are you so?" He's like, "Why are you so like aggro against me?" And he's just like, "Because you used monkey as a dartboard."
Yeah, and he's like, "What are we talking about? It's just something Mom gave us. Mom gives us stuff all the time." And we, as the audience, are like, "Ooh, we feel the dramatic irony."
Even Older Barry is about to like snap at him, and then he's like, "Yeah, you're right." And she all the time, and he just kind of walks off. And
yeah, and he Older Barry actually immediately apologizes. He's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry I snapped at you," and a little bit of character growth from Younger Barry. He's like, "It's cool, man. I mean, I get it. I can be a little much sometimes."
Yeah, he's like, "I know I can be a bit insufferable, and I talk a lot, and I'm kind of annoying."
There you go. That's some character growth. And then, inevitably, Younger Barry ends up inside the Batmobile and sleeps there. He sleeps inside the Batmobile with the monkey, I think.
No. Old Barry has the monkey still.
Okay, Old Barry has the monkey. And, I think it's like, late in the night, Older Barry looks up and sees a little light on one of the monitors. And it's a security camera, and the camera cuts to the cinema camera cuts to Bruce, who's been watching them this whole time, and Older Barry's like, "I know you." He's like, "I know you're there. I know you're watching," but I forget what all he says. Lilette, hello, Lilette. Welcome. If you're here for the first time, this isn't something. This isn't something I normally do, but me and my friend Zabz are talking about the Flash movie that we watched last week, and we've been doing a basic overview of what all happens in the movie, and I usually ask this with everyone who pops into my chat. Did you find me via Twitch, Twitter, or Discord? Because most of the people who follow me end up finding me on Discord. It's very rare that people find me on Twitter or Twitch. So, welcome. We're about an hour into the movie that we're talking about.
Well, we started. About an hour.
Not an hour into stream, an hour into the movie.
No, we're a little bit more. It was like almost 3 hour movie, dude.
Yeah, it was an almost 3 hour movie, which it did not feel like 3 hour movie. It was great.
Also, to clarify.
Yes. Oh yes.
I'm Zab the bunny,
yes.
and he is the dog boy.
Not dog. It's a cat. I'm a cat named Dog. Also, I'm a fusion of 2 characters.
Oh, we don't have to explain that.
I named my cat boy Dog, and it's a fusion of 2 characters. I'm still working on the lore. Twitch, because I'm looking for people to draw. Awesome! Well, welcome.
He welcomes fan art.
Absolutely. I was, my model was drawn by the lovely Bellymouth Art, who, also worked on the card game by Germa918, I think his name is. But, yeah, she was, she worked on the art. I actually know her in real life. She's very sweet. She drew my model in exchange for some Magic the Gathering cards, which I thought was too low, but she's like, "I'm gonna draw you anyway." And I'm like, "I appreciate it." And Zabz's Bunny Man was, I actually linked it earlier in the chat. I'll actually refer back to it. It was drawn by MB Shell on Instagram. And I'm going to copy that. I didn't mean to do that. I'm not Bob Ross, but I enjoy it. Hey, you do what makes you happy. That's perfectly fine.
And it's been my experience that most people who talk that way about their art tend to be really good artists.
That's true. Cause hey, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it a lot. Oh, also, if you feel like drawing the bunny, this is the full model. I just had him dipping down low so he wouldn't block the picture. But yeah, that's Zabz. Oh, cutie, right? The person did such a good job on the art. And for context, me and Zabz have known each other since high school. Like, you started talking to me when I was in freshman year in high school, I think? Or was it sophomore?
So, because you were friends with someone else I was friends with, so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, got it. And quick diatribe. You were, like, immensely friendly to me, which I don't think anyone had ever been that friendly to me, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was a bit creeped out at first.
Probably overcompensated a little bit, this is true.
Wait, which one of us was overcompensating?
Me.
Okay, got it. I couldn't tell which one. And also, usually my model moves, but because me and Zabz are in the same room, instead of just having my model going off every time both of us talk, I had to follow your cue, but sometimes I forget to follow the person I'm drawing, and my Twitch crashes. And I will search for like 20, trying to find them all. That sucks. I do appreciate the follow, though. Either way. But yeah, this is normally how my model works. Is that it just floats and whatnot. 20 minutes. Okay, yeah. I assumed minutes. But yeah, for right now, he's just gonna be still. And if you're not sure about the pronunciation, the full name is Ikainu, which is a portmanteau of Ikan and Inu, which Ikan is Japanese for a link, and Inu is dog. And yes, I named a cat boy dog because ha funny. And Zabz is short for Zabuza, if you were unable to tell, because he's a big old fan of Naruto, and Zabuza is his favorite character. Not sure why a rabbit, though.
Because most fan art connects Haku with a bunny because of the fact that he had a pet snow bunny. In the series, especially when he was a kid, Zabuza caught one for him as a pet.
Okay, so that's a double Naruto reference. I had no clue. I was going to make a joke that it was because of your short stature, but I wasn't sure.
I mean, no, but
I will not mention how short you are, if you don't want me to.
It doesn't matter. Okay,
he's 5 foot even. And I am 6 foot even. I'm a full foot taller, but he's memorized more stuff than I have.
Oh, and in case if you're so you know what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the Flash movie. If you haven't seen it, this will have a lot of spoilers.
Yes, this is a very we are literally in the process of. Well, I'm only 5'4". The tall king reigns. Oh, I kid. I have not gotten nearly as many how's the weather up there as I expected I would. But that's okay. Any height's a good height. But yes, we're doing a big rundown of the movie and then sort of telling our thoughts on it as we go. And when last we left off, Barry Allen had time traveled back to the past to stop his mother from dying, and in doing so had created an alternate timeline, and he went back to 2013, he went back to the 80s where his mom was alive, prevented her death, and then went back accidentally to 2013. I would go up to your damn elbow or something. I was short as hell. Hey, don't worry about it.
No.
What?
90s.
Oh, he went.
back
Oh,
to the 90s.
sorry. Yeah, he went back to the 90s to stop his mother's death, and then whenever he tried to go back forward in time, something shot him out of what's known as the Chrono Bowl, which is how he can time travel. And he wound up back in 2013 in an alternate timeline where his mother was alive. He meets his younger self, who is an obnoxious brat. He gets power. He makes sure his younger self gets his powers, but his powers get taken away and put into younger Barry. And as of right now, they have found the alternate timeline Bruce, which is portrayed by Michael Keaton, a.k.a. the same guy who portrayed Batman in Tim Burton's 1989 adaptation of Batman, which is just a big old reference. And there is no Aquaman, there's no Wonder Woman, and as far as we know, there's no Superman. And the events of this movie, mostly in 2013, take place during the events of the Superman movie from 2013, where Zod has returned and he's threatening Earth, unless the son of Krypton or whatever shows himself.
This is around the point where the older Barry is explaining to the younger Barry about how he knows Zod is so bad because he was there on the day that Zod showed up, and he was so scared that he could only save one kid.
Yep. But he tried to save the kid. He tried to save the kid's dad, but he wasn't fast enough.
He wasn't used to his powers enough.
That's it. He wasn't used to his powers, and he perceived that as not being fast enough.
Yeah.
And he sort of has lived with that regret for years. And that's when his younger self sort of starts to understand the gravity of the situation. And that's also when old man Bruce, who initially did not want to help them, so they snuck into his Batcave. Older Barry and younger Barry fall asleep, and older Barry wakes up to a cup of coffee at the computer waiting for him. One which younger Barry, with his new powers, speeds by and just chugs the fucking coffee. Because, for those unaware, because Barry, or the Flash in general, is so fast, he has an incredibly high metabolism that if he does not eat enough calories within a certain amount of time, not only does he slow down, but like a lot of bad stuff happens. Right?
Well, I mean, he can die.
That's it. That's the bad thing.
I mean,
he can die.
Essentially, the Achilles heel of having super speed is accelerated starvation.
You're right. Don't put Barry on a deserted island.
Oh, he'd be able to run home.
I mean, you're right.
Run on water.
I know. I was trying to make a dumb.
No, I get you.
I was trying to make a dumb starvation joke.
Poking a hole in your joke there.
I mean, honestly, poking holes in jokes can be just as funny, but especially if the jokes don't land. Oops. There we go. But yeah, older Barry and younger Barry wake up to the cup of coffee which younger Barry steals, and I can't remember if there is a sequence of events that happens between whenever the Barrys wake up and it's revealed. The Flash must have to use the bathroom a whole lot.
No, actually.
No, but I understand where you would get that, like in the episode of Jimmy Neutron, where that's a parody of the Fantastic Four, where Sheen gets super speed but also loses bladder control. That's so funny. I love that so much. I'll go to China and see if there's a cure. Nope.
In the comics and in most of the animated adaptations of The Flash, he eventually learns that he doesn't actually have to intake so much calories because he can draw power from the Speed Force itself, which is the source of his speed, to help kind of sustain him so he can live more of a normal life and not spend $1,000 a day on food.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. There's actually a comedic bit right after younger Barry gets his powers, where he rushes, where they go back to. I'm dying. Oh wait, Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are gonna fight help. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I called it two clowns boxing in a circus. We may mention that later. I don't know. But anyway, I lost my train of thought, so we're just gonna go back to the recap. But if there's no significant sequence of events to the Barrys waking up and the reveal that old man Wayne has shaved and cut his hair, they turn and they see Old Man Wayne, who had initially said, no, I'm not going to help, turn, and it's just like old times, except with gray hair. He's back in his bat suit, and he's like, let's see if we can find this guy, this Superman.
This is an upgraded version of the Burton suit.
It is, yes. Because there's an actual neck room.
Yeah, and you can see on the arm.
Yeah, the gauntlets are different as well.
Yeah, and it's not all rubber.
It's not as bulky, and it's not all rubber.
Yeah.
Because for those who have not seen the 1989 Tim Burton Batman film, if you look closely enough, you'll notice that version of Batman never turns his head, and whenever he looks up, he leans all the way back up, like with his shoulders to look up. And also, whenever he turns his whole upper body. He never turns his head.
That's because the entire suit is made out of very hard rubber, and the mold for the cowl is a whole neck mold.
Yeah.
Whereas with like the Nolan Batman, they had it as sectioned to pieces. They learned from that.
Yes.
Anyways, but yeah. So like, no head articulation, which is what they did with this version of the suit.
I'm about to bring that up. I'm not sure exactly when that happens. I think it's whenever they get the super.
That's a little bit later on.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so with Old Man Wayne's help, they find a meteor that had crashed, and the Russians got a hold of it, and so they're like, oh god, and so they have to infiltrate a Russian science facility, and there's a whole really funny sequence of events. That whole sequence is both funny and action packed. It's great. At one point, because it's also Younger Barry learning how to use his powers,
and Older Barry still not having his powers.
Yep. And one of the funniest parts is that comes after they're trying to escape, I think. Whenever Younger Barry tries to move Older Flash. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, they infiltrate and they try to sneak in, and I can't remember who it is that knocks over. Is it Older Barry that knocks over the thing?
No, it's the Younger Barry.
Okay, yeah. So Younger Barry knocks over this like tank that's so loud because they're in this like big vertical shaft. They're at the bottom.
Silo.
Yeah, they're at the bottom of a missile silo, and so it's like super echoey. And all the scientists just turn and look at them silently.
And he tries to walk away, but then he knocks over a shovel.
He knocks over a shovel. It's that like awkward humor.
Man, Batman gets shot up a lot in that sequence.
Yeah,
and like even once he realizes he's gonna have to deal with gunfire, he sighs. He's like, "Here we go."
Yeah, he does. But also, he has a bulletproof bat cape.
Yeah, but it still hurts him.
Does it?
Yeah, it's like getting shot with a Kevlar vest. It doesn't go through, but you still feel it.
That's fair. Okay. But yeah. Oh yeah, true. Might want to do that, please. Thank you. What'd you knock over? Oh, you knocked over my pill organizer. Because I'm an idiot who's so forgetful that I have to have a pill organizer, otherwise I forget to take my daily anxiety medication. I also sometimes forget if I've taken it or not, and I can't remember. Anyway, so they eventually find this giant orb-shaped capsule / prison cell.
They call it a Russian testicle.
Oh yeah, it looks like a testicle. Are you sure that wasn't you that said it looked like a testicle?
No, they literally call it in the movie. Younger Barry says, "Oh, so they keep the Superman in a giant Russian testicle."
Yeah, that's right, a giant Russian testicle. I think Older Barry is like, I think he tries to like deny it at first. He was like, it really looks like a testicle.
Yeah,
it's so good. They open it, and at first they're like, oh, it's empty. And then they find this random, not super young girl, but she's like teenage years.
Well, she's really malnourished.
Yeah, she's very malnourished, so she looks pretty young. And I think Bruce's at first said leave her at first.
Yeah, well, Bruce is just like, she's not the one we came for. Just leave her.
Yeah, she's not the one. And then Older Barry is like, no, we can't just leave her here. And so they help the malnourished girl out, and through a series of daring and hilarious bits and shenanigans, they manage to escape. But the way they do is that there's this like broken elevator, I think, and then
I was about to say the tape measure. Oh,
oh yeah.
Before that though, there's a point where like they're being shot at, and and Batman is protecting them, and younger Barry in the Flash suit, he's like, oh yeah, and he's like, he was trying to stop some bullets too, and then one goes through his knee, and he's like, I got shot.
He's like, of course you could get shot. Why would you? What made you think you couldn't get shot?
He's like, because I got superpowers now.
That's such a good one. The movie is actually a lot more gory than I thought it would be. Like, I didn't expect him to show the tooth breaking off or the bullet going through his leg.
Both in slow motion.
What was this movie rated?
I think it's PG-13.
Wow, you can get away with a lot in PG-13. Goddamn.
You get one F-bomb.
Yeah, you get one F-bomb and apparently 2 bloody injuries, detailed bloody injuries. Anyway, also, the younger Barry tries to pick up older Barry to like speed him out of the way of a bullet or some kind of rocket or something, and at first, older Barry doesn't know what happened. He's like, "What did you do? What did you do?" And then younger Barry's like, I just moved you a little bit. And he's like, you what? And he just barfs pea soup for some reason.
Well, see, it's because the momentum of shifting his stomach so much. That was literally bile coming out of his stomach. Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that even more than I did when I saw it.
It's the whole sudden start and sudden stop thing.
Yeah.
That, like, some people get motion sickness from that.
Yeah.
But, like, times 20.
Oh, fuck, man, that's horrible. Well, then how is he able to move people in other ways? Like, how is he able to move those babies at the start of the film?
Well, he explains that. He's like, there's a certain way you have to do things.
Oh,
so it's like you kind of decelerate, not just sudden stop.
Oh, okay, he decelerates very quickly.
Yeah, but not too quickly.
Yeah, not too quickly.
But yeah, like, when they're being chased by the Russians, and they get to a broken elevator, and he puts Batman puts everybody on top of there, and he goes, what's your weight? And then he gives them the weights and things like that, and like he pulls out a fucking tape measure and measures how far off the ground the elevator already is.
It's so funny. It tickled me.
And then like he straps a bomb to the bottom of it, and after he calculates their weight in the distance, and it just shoots them up, and it's great. And then they get the girl into the sunlight, and you see her muscle tone and everything start to come back.
Yeah, and the colors start to come back, and she floats in midair, and she beats the shit out of those Russian soldiers. It's glorious. And
Hey, but nothing wrong with being Russian in particular.
Yeah, of course. You know, just given the geopolitical stage that's the geopolitical circumstances that are occurring right now.
Well, one of my best friends is Russian.
I know, and she's in a very dire situation. I feel bad for her.
Yeah, well, she's still in a sling from where she broke her arm.
Yeah, but that's not related to the
current situation.
That's not related to the current geopolitical situation in Russia. That was a completely different thing. Anyway, we're getting off topic. So Bruce sets a bomb on the bottom of the elevator shaft, and he makes it why does it explode so big? Is it just because they're in the silo?
Yeah, it's an enclosed area. Plus, he did calculate the yield he was gonna need based on their weight.
That's true. Yeah, and so he puts some explosives under the elevator. It explodes and shoots them up, which is also where they get the girl into the sun, and it is revealed that she is a super person. She's a Kryptonian, and she beats the shit out of the Russian soldiers.
I need these shoes.
You know that Mike picked that up, right?
I don't care if the mic picked those up. These shoes are awesome.
Oh, of course, the Flash shoes.
I love them.
I wish they look like Reeboks that someone spray painted.
They're Pumas.
Well, Pumas be looking like 90s Reeboks now, apparently. Anyway, I guess I've just started growing averse to shoes with laces since I've stopped wearing shoes with laces for going on 5 years.
Ain't no way I'm getting those shoes.
Oh yeah, that's not worth it. Anyway, so after the Shimmy, shimmy, Russell, Russell, bam, I'm here. Morgan! Welcome! The little bunny man next to me is my friend Zabz, and his entire character is a big old Naruto reference to Zabuza and Haku with the rabbit. It's great. It was drawn by the lovely is that still in my... It's not. Fuck. Okay, hold on. It's drawn by Imbeshell on Instagram, and they did a wonderful job with it. I don't want to have to keep doing this every time someone new comes in, so we need to make it shorter. Anyway, but yeah, that's the link to the artist page. They make wonderful art, and we're doing a recap and discussion of the Flash movie, and we had just gotten to the part where Barry's back in time to 2013, where that takes place during the Superman movie with Zod, and Barry's trying to put the Justice League back together, but half of them don't exist, and they're trying to find Superman, but they end up finding an older girl in a Russian military base.
Kara Zor-El.
Yeah, her name is Kara Zor-El, and she is surprised that they know Kal-El, which is Clark Kent's Kryptonian name. And at first, she wants to seek revenge on humanity for doing that to her. And Older
Barry.
Well, we have to explain to Morgan the older Barry and younger Barry. Barry Allen goes back in time, prevents his mother's death, and then creates an alternate timeline which he is shot back into, but in 2013, and he meets his younger alternate timeline self, which we call younger Barry, and he helps younger Barry get his powers, but older Barry loses his powers, and now you're essentially caught up for the time being. So they take Kara Zor-El back to old man Bruce Wayne's manor, and this is the alternate timeline Bruce Wayne, which is played by Elder Barrys. I like that. I just realized.
I mean, that's more accurate, but still.
He's sneaking. He's like, I'm sneaking. Well, he's like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. You're lucky I ain't got my sword on me. It's too big right now. Mark my words. If a villager comes in, you're gonna be real sorry.
Why?
God help you if Tom Nook finds you.
Oh, why?
I love the wheezing. Thank you, VO. Also, welcome. Oh no, I broke him. No, Morgan. It wasn't the elderberries. It was me literally just messing with Zabz's model, and because he's a ninja, he's hiding down below, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you." Oh my god, it's so dumb.
Anyways.
Wait. Distraction time, but it's important. I swear. Here, let me put it in the layer below him. Love the Naruto ninja. I'm okay, Morgan. Thank you. Okay, so now.
See, look, they get it.
Wait, watch this. Now he's hiding.
I don't have to explain my bunny reference to these people. They get it.
I mean, at least Vio does. But yeah, the Naruto Zabuza Ninja Bun. Well, she said Naruto Ninja Bun. Specifically, it's a Zabuza reference. But yeah, the Zabuza Bun was drawn by Imbeshell, which I linked a little further up in the chat. And we're talking about the Flash movie. And at the current moment, well, yeah, I meant just Naruto, like the series. Yeah, okay, cool. Also, Vio, I don't know how long you've been in chat, so I don't know how much we need to recap. Your ponytail is so hard to draw. I'm sorry, Lilette.
You know, it's ironic.
Like 3 minutes. Okay, so we were like halfway through the recap.
It's ironic that you mentioned his ponytail, because in real life, I have a long ponytail.
Yeah, in real life, I mostly... Both of our hair is long in real life. His is longer than mine, but ours both goes at least down to our stomachs. His goes past his stomach. He keeps his in a ponytail. I keep mine down unless I'm working, just to keep it out of my face. Otherwise, I like to let it roll. Roll? What? No, flow free. Anyway, but yeah, your hair goes down to your ass, I think.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, his hair goes down to his ass. Mine goes down to like my lower back, I think. Anyway, we keep getting off topic, but it's really funny.
We're at Kara Zor-El flying off because
Yes.
she killed 50 Russians.
Wait, whoa, lore drop. That's not a lore drop. Does it get caught in your cheeks? I don't know if he wants to answer that video.
I purposely move my hair to the front in front of me for when I use the bathroom, so that doesn't happen.
I mean,
There's something I didn't think I'd have to explain today.
Although I assume VO meant that your hair gets. You're smart for that. I assumed you meant that his hair gets caught in his ass with his pants on. You're just assuming he's just all caked up. I used to have hair that long, and yes, I usually gets in nooks and crannies. Hashtag Tom Nook. Oh god. Oh, quick recap of what? No, I meant in your butt crack. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good to know. Okay, so quick recap for Vio and Morgan. The basic plot of the Flash movie is Barry Allen. Whenever he was a kid, his mother was murdered. No one knows why. His dad was framed, so he went into forensic science to try to clear his dad's name. Not looking too good. So Barry goes back in time, prevents his mom's death, and winds up making an alternate timeline where Batman's played by, I keep blanking on his goddamn name. Michael Keaton. I'm sorry.
Checks note.
Checks invisible notes I wrote on my wrist.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah. But we're an alternate universe where instead of Ben Affleck, Batman's played by Michael Keaton, and it's hinted that this version of Batman is connected to the original. What the fuck is the director's name? I almost said Jim Carrey.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. Thank you. It was a single name.
Hold on.
What are you doing?
It's not Val Kilmer.
That's so good. Riddle me this. Hard to forget those acid trip Batman movies. Yeah, you right in. But yes, it's implied that this alternate timeline is the Tim Burton Batman movieverse, because you see the Tim verse Batmobile, you see the Tim verse Batplane, all kinds of stuff. Except it takes place years after those movies. I've actually never seen them. They're good movies. There's two of them that were directed by Tim Burton. There's just one called The Batman. I guess if you ever want to watch it, just look up 1989 Batman. And then there's Batman Returns.
Yes, Batman Returns.
Okay, Batman Returns is the second in those two series of movies. And then a couple years later, the director for those movies was replaced by...
Hold on, I'm double checking that right now. I usually know off the top of my head, but
they were okay.
Schumacher, Joel Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher replaced.
He's seen the Nolan Batman movies.
That's a her.
So they've seen the Nolan Batman movies.
Yes, she has seen the Nolan Batman movies. And the new one with Cedric Diggory. Yes, the new one with Robert Pattinson. It's a good thing they chose Michael Keaton, though. He could have ended up with George Clooney, and then we'd be in hell. Funny you mention that. We'll bring that up later. So anyway, original Batman filmography aside, with Barry meeting his younger self, he helps his alternate universe self get his powers back, but in so doing, the original Barry loses his powers, and this alternate timeline takes place in 2013, which is the same year that the the Witcher Superman movie came out. What the fuck is it? Henry Cavill. That the Henry Cavill Superman movie came out, and so Zod is like is threatening to invade Earth if Superman is not like handed over, and so original Barry is in like a race, pun intended, to get the Justice League back together, but half of them don't exist, including Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and they're trying to find Superman, but they end up finding Kara Zor-El,
Supergirl,
who is Supergirl, and in this timeline, both Kara and Kal-El, which is Superman's original name, for those of you who don't know, whenever Krypton was dying or about to blow up, they sent out
glasses. For those of you who don't know,
I did not mean for that to sound pretentious. If it did,
no, it didn't. I'm just
okay. Thank God, dude. Do you have any? Dude, that's like one of my biggest fears. That my genuine enthusiasm is misinterpreted as like haughty arrogance. Oh God, that's a big fear.
For all you fake nerds in the audience.
That's like a legit fear, man. I don't want to be that guy. I try so hard not to be that guy.
No, I understand that the reason I'm here is because I'm the comic book expert.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Zabz here, he is a huge, Flash fan, and he knows a lot about comic books in general. Yeah, feel free to look through those. I think those were the spares that I didn't want. I'm just trying to figure out what to do with them.
There.
He's oh wait, don't worry, I feel it, because one time I was told my tone sounded sarcastic, and I was like, no, I'm genuine, I'm just autistic. Zabz is the same fucking way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yo, no! Little lad, how could you insult my boy like that? Oh my God! You killed him, little lad! You killed him! He's dying, little lad! He's dying!
No, they're just hearing like the best Joker impersonation ever. That's right.
Oh my God, that was funny as hell. He's fucking crying now. Oh my God. Oh, that was good.
I don't think I've ever had anything slightly close to being compared to young Sheldon or Sheldon period.
In before he randomly hits us with a bazinga. You know, the funny thing is, me and Zabz actually used to be unironically Big Bang Theory fans before we sort of realized it was, like, garbage. I'm not sure if you still enjoy it, though.
I mean, I just haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah, same here. But I've seen clips of it. I'm like, oh God, no.
Okay, so now we need to get past the point. We need to get past this point right here.
Yeah, we've been stuck on this point for like half an hour. But anyway, so they found. My parents loved it. Oh, I'm so sorry, video. I'm so sorry. Oh, you know what, Lilith? I'm glad you enjoy it. For what it is. Yeah. We're getting
going. Let's truck on.
Yes, we're trucking on. Thank you for your condolences. I love that. There's nothing. Also, I usually try to indulge chat so they don't feel like ignored. But anyway, they had just gotten not Kara Zev, Kara Zor-El.
Zev.
Kara Zev is a magic character. I keep getting clips for it popping up on my feed, not sure why. Oh God, I'm so sorry, Morgan. But anyway, they get Kara Zor-El back to Wayne Manor, and Kara Zor-El's sort of having this conflict with herself because, like, she was rescued by humans, but also awful humans sort of kept like. Humans were also the ones who kept her locked up in what both Barrys describe as a giant Russian testicle.
Essentially, Russia had her had Kara and experimented on her for roughly 20 years.
I didn't know it was that long. Damn.
Yeah, and they also they found out the weakness of red light solar radiation, and that's what takes. Okay, so
Yeah, I have
quick-
no idea what the fuck red light solar radiation
quick
is.
Kryptonian physiology lesson.
Bam! There's your stinger.
So the planet Krypton itself orbited a red star, which is why and red stars emit different wavelengths of radiation. Planet Krypton itself was also a bigger planet. Anyways, Superman and Kryptonians get their powers from a yellow sun because of the way their cells absorb the yellow sun radiation. Red light kind of negates that from them, and so it takes their powers away. It's like it's an easier way to beat Superman besides kryptonite.
Is it?
Yeah.
It just turns him human, right?
Well, no, it weakens them. The radiation that the red solar radiation is
It weakens them, but yet they live on a planet that's right next to them.
it's kind of equivalent to
Exactly, Lilette.
in large doses. It's equivalent to a type of nuclear radiation for humans.
Oh, okay.
So large doses, with the,
So it's kind of like if you get too close to the sun, you burn and die.
Yeah, well, Kryptonians are essentially walking, living solar batteries.
And you can't shoot a solar panel with ionizing radiation, or it just destroys its. I would survive.
Yeah.
I'm built different. Hell yeah, Via.
Which is why Superman, which is why he gets his power from the sun. His cells soak up the solar radiation, and it's what makes him strong and things like that. Later on in the comics, he realizes that he doesn't even need to eat as long as he has yellow sunlight.
That's ridiculous.
It will sustain him. Blue stars actually supercharge them.
He's got that. He likes that yellow good. Anyway.
Yeah, blue stars make them like 10 times stronger.
Are blue stars actually a thing, or is that just comic only?
No, there are blue stars.
That's the young star, right?
Yes, blue stars are young stars.
There it is. Got it.
Yellow's middle-aged star.
And then red is red dwarf.
Yeah, well, they're not always dwarfs. There are red giants, too. Beetlejuice is a red giant. It's just that it's a star near the end of its cycle.
Hold on. There's a fucking red star in real life called Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
That's actually fucking cool. I'm coloring my You know what? I appreciate that, Lilette. If you're able to access we're talking warrior cats with blue stars. No, Morgan, we're not. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Also, Lilette, I very much appreciate the drawing. If my Twitter is in my bio on Twitch, but I'll link it in the chat just for posterity's sake. So you can send that shit to me.
Anyways, while he's doing that, essentially, she flies off to,
There's a monster in Monster Hunter whose name is based off the star 2, Betelgeuse.
That's how you pronounce it. It's Beetlejuice, but it's,
Oh, that's weird. He's a B-52 stealth bomber.
Anyways.
They just get her back when she's having a conflict because while humans did save her from the Russians, humans also put her in that pit for years. He's a pain to fight. Hey, I didn't know you played Monster Hunter. I'm personally not a fan. That's just I don't really care for it. It's I've explained to Anne why. I can't get into it right now. I'm in flash mode.
So, anyways, after she flies off, there's a bit that they adapted from the comics, which I'm actually surprised they adapted from the comics. Yes. And that is a scene where they strap Barry into what is essentially an electric chair.
Oh, yes.
With a kite attached to it during a thunderstorm.
Yes, because they want to get his powers back, and because original Barry knows how he got his powers, he asks Bruce for his help to recreate the experiment. So they're literally in the Batcave. There's a fucking like mad science chair complete with wrist locks on it, and excuse me, and like, and there's two racks of chemicals, one in each. Or one on either side of the chair. And Barry's essentially like, let's fucking do this. And Bruce is like, I can see there's nothing I can do to stop you because you are absolutely insane. So I'm going to help you kill yourself. Essentially, bro, about to get the electric chair for real though.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens because he gets struck. The kite gets struck and it channels the electricity down to him, and he gets splashed with the chemicals, and he literally almost dies. He doesn't get his powers back. He is there, seething in this chair that he's strapped into. Burns over 90% of his body, and he's just like
the motherfucker's like the motherfucker is like cut to that fucking Goofy meme. I'll fucking do it again.
Yeah, he's literally straight up again. Do it again.
Yeah, do it again. And fucking old man Bruce is looking at him like, okay.
He's like, I would, but all my equipment is fried now.
Yeah.
And that's when Kara shows back up.
Oh wait.
That's literally, but
I know, but also we also forgot an interim air fryer buried shit. Exactly, Morgan. We also forgot one bit where you actually see where she goes after she flies off, where one of Superman's powers that doesn't get brought up a lot is that he can hear just about every radio frequency and people talking on Earth at once, and we see that happening to Kara, and she's like, this shit's so loud, what the fuck? And she goes to where Zod is.
Oh, no, you're... okay, so...
She meets with Zod once, then leaves.
Well, those... see, the part you started with is with young Barry on the roof, and he's like, so
That's
you're
right.
strong, huh? And then she spits a loogie at one of the gargoyles, and it just explodes, and he goes, oh, yeah, you're pretty strong. And then the other part he's talking about is, well, there's a scene in Man of Steel where Clark is actually with them in this in the original scene, but not in this version of events, where the military meets with Zod to try to negotiate with him.
Yes.
And he's just like, I want Kal-El, and Kal-El's there, that's when the fight starts. Yep. But in this version of events, they don't have Kal-El. They don't have any bargaining. He's like, you don't have a bargaining chip. You did not bring me the fugitive like I wanted. And then he just kind of guts all the military people there. And she's like in the distance watching this. And that's when she has a change of heart. Because she knows that Zod needs to be stopped.
Yes. And also, whenever they initially get her back to the Batcave, she's like, do you know what the symbol of my chest stands for? Which is actually a reference to the Superman movie from 2013, where it was initially a joke, where Lois Lane's like, I don't know, it's a fucking S. And he's like, on my planet, he was. I remember watching that scene. He was real arrogant and haughty about it. On my planet, it means hope. He sounded like a fucking hipster, getting like annoyed at someone who didn't know this obscure band.
But like young Barry's like, it means Supergirl, and then the older Barry's like, it means hope.
Yeah, and Kara is actually like super surprised by this, and she's like, oh yeah, you're right.
She's she explains like, my people are a people of hope. Zod is not my people.
Mm-hmm. He's crazy. Anyway, I tried to say something more comedic, but it wasn't happening.
No witty retort.
I tried. There was nothing in the chamber. I was firing blanks, buddy. Anyway,
bring up a picture of Sasha Calle's Supergirl.
Oh yes, dude.
I love her outfit. I love
her as an actress. She's absolutely gorgeous. Like, look at her go. If it works properly, yeah. Well, I think that actually might just be bad CGI, so I may actually not use that one.
Calle, her last name is spelled Calle, by the way. Sasha, Sasha. Yeah, Sasha.
SAS.
Nope.
SASH. Wait, no, her last name.
Calle.
Oh, okay. The Flash movie. Maybe this will turn up something. Yeah, there it is. I want to find her full suit that's not CGI. That's a little better. That should be good. Look at her. She's so pretty. She got that short hair going on. Looks fantastic. Although, the first time I saw her, the first time I looked at her fucking face, I was like, is that fucking Firestarter from Deadpool 2?
A lot of people have made that joke.
Legit, she looks like Firestarter from Deadpool 2.
His name was Fire Fist.
That's it, Fire Fist. Yeah, that's right, because Firestarter is an EDM song from the 90s. I'm the Firestarter! Alright. But yeah, that's Kara Zor-El as Supergirl. I really, for some reason, Supergirl looks better without the tights. Whoop. Allow mod. How the female member... Why auto mod? What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, yeah, go ahead. I'll show her a Fire Fist. Anyway. Oh, bless you, VO. She looks like the female member of the squad in the first Resident Evil movie. I haven't seen that, so I don't know.
Her design aesthetic, if you don't have to bring this up on there if you want to, but I'm going to show you a picture.
Okay.
Is based off of IRL.
Oh.
The daughter of Superman.
Oh, that's adorable. I like that.
So.
Well, it's also based on the fact that
It's
also based on the fact that Witcher Superman didn't have the tights on his uniform, and neither does she. But for some reason, she looks better like this than the Witcher Superman did.
I mean the short black hair thing.
Oh, the short black hair. Yeah, I got you. Because this version of Supergirl is not based on anything from the comics. This was a completely original idea, and she looks so goddamn cute. I love her. Bless her. Look at her. She looks so happy to be doing that movie. Good for you, girl. Do your thing. Anyway. Where were we? The bargaining chip. She goes back to Wayne Manor, and as older Barry's laying there dying from his from getting electrocuted. Well, electrocuted means you do die. From getting shocked and almost dying. She flies in, looks at him, and she's like, she just kind of shrugs, and she picks him up, takes him up into the clouds to get him shocked a second time,
and he gets his powers back.
Well, kind of, but like they do like a maybe he might be dead, maybe he isn't dead.
Yeah.
Thing.
It would have been ballsy though to actually keep him dead and just have the young Barry be the new Barry going on.
No. He fucking dies. Just hard cut to credits. And that's it. There's no more DC movies. That's how they announced that DC's no longer making movies. Oh my god, that would be fucking hilarious.
That'd be an interesting meta reference.
Barry's dead. Fucking see ya. Anyway, just the way it should be. Oh, come on, VO. Oh, that's really cute. Also, like, Power Girl has a lot of simps.
Well, Power Girl is Supergirl from another universe.
Oh, I know. I'm just teasing. Well, no, it's all good, VO.
Well,
we understand.
I wonder why Power Girl has a lot of simps.
I know. Could it be the fucking booby window?
I mean...
granted, that's not why that was there. I don't think, because I think Linkara mentioned why that was drawn.
No, there was never really a reason for it. It was Jeff Jones who gave it a meaning. Jeff Jones he's the dude who wrote the Flashpoint storyline to begin with, the original Flashpoint in the comics. Yeah. He did a lot of retcons, a lot of character development for a lot of heroes and villains. Created a lot of villains. Anyways, long story short, Jeff Jones says that she keeps that window open like that because. She feels like she doesn't deserve a symbol like her cousin Superman.
That's a pretty good excuse. I'll be honest. That's a pretty good excuse. And excuse in this sense being like a last minute reason that makes sense. So that is a pretty good reason, even if it was just kind of out of his ass. Anyway, so Kara Zor-El just kind of lets older Barry get struck by lightning again. She takes him back down into the Batcave. He lays there for a little bit. And then he comes back to life like he should, because whenever younger Barry gets his powers, you see that whenever the lightning strikes him, he heals really fast. Because initially there's a hole in his back, and then that like heals itself real quick.
Yeah, well, Flash is accelerating healing. Anyway, yes. So bringing up Jeff Jones was pertinent because he wrote this story.
Yeah.
Also, Linkara says he's like, I hate him, but I just like his stories are just too damn good. I hate him for it.
For context, by the way, Linkara is a YouTuber who runs a show called Atop the Fourth Wall, where he talks about comic books that suck and some that are good. And he's a fun show. It's a fun show to watch. It has a lot of goofy, smart ass humor to it, and it's real fun.
I recommend his Blue Skying Blue Beetle retrospective or
It's
his
like
Christianja Kane respective, which are both like 2-3 hours long.
Yeah.
Where they cover the entire history of the character from his first publication to the current iterations.
And if you like Transformers, he did an entire retrospective of the Transformers comic book series, which he
Marvel UK.
Yeah, no, not the Marvel UK, the original one from the 80s.
It was the Marvel UK ones.
Oh, it was. I thought
Yeah.
I thought UK was like a split thing. We know Anne redo One Last Day crap.
No, she's making a reference to when like he did the Power Rangers the Super Sentai Gokaiger review. Where he's like, just shoot him already. He's like, I'm not used to these things doing what I say. Redo One More Day.
No, it's undo One More Day. Because One More Day refers to the Spider-Man storyline that no one liked, where Aunt May. Well, I'm explaining to the audience where Aunt May dies, and Peter just can't fucking take that, and so he makes a deal with essentially Satan, where he brings Aunt May back, but he makes it so either
it cost him his wedding.
It cost him his wedding, so him and MJ were never married, just so he could bring back Aunt May, which...
And he's the only one who remembers it.
Yeah, he's the only one who remembers it, which is real fucking dumb. And people have been calling to undo One More Day for, like, years now, but no one has... Like, the comic book industry is just like, why would we do that? It's perfectly fine. Alright, anyway. It's actually referenced in Into the Spider-Verse, or Across the Spider-Verse, which I would love to talk to you about that at some point later. Maybe after the DVD comes out, so we can watch it again.
Anyways.
Yes.
We're missing one of the best parts here, and that is the montage.
Oh yeah, that happens after original Barry gets his powers back.
Yeah, we're right at that point.
Yes, we're right at that point. I forget what happens in between the montage and Barry waking up, but that's right. Some time passes, and older Barry wakes up in Wayne Manor, and a couple of days has passed, right?
But the montage is set up before Barry gets electrocuted, because Bruce throws him a suit, and he goes, "Here, this will insulate you," and it's the original rubber bat suit.
That's right. Yes, it's the original rubber bat suit from the Tim verse.
And he's just he's just like, "No, I have to be like 100% struck by lightning." He tosses it back. Anyways, so
yeah, and then younger Barry's like, I'll keep it. And then cut to a montage of young Barry taking the original Tim...
The original Burton suit.
Yeah, Tim Burton. Taking the original Tim Burton 89 Batman suit, spray painting it red, putting like yellow strips over it, spray painting over the bat symbol like a yellow lightning bolt, and then cut to like... and then it shows him posing in it. And then hard cut to him taking like a serrated knife and just sawing off the fucking bat ears.
Like, it has like epic music with it, like all the stages, like him cutting the pieces up so he can move better in them.
Yeah.
And then like it just hard cut, no music, and you just hear the knife cutting into the rubber.
So good. That's so good. The comedy in this movie is great most of the time. There were Vio and Morgan, we explained it earlier, but there are two instances of gore and one instance of barfing in this movie that, while most people found funny, it was skeevy. The first one was whenever both Barrys are getting electrocuted. Older Barry's tooth gets broken off. Black, yeah, exactly, Morgan. Older Barry's tooth. What are you doing? Okay, I didn't know where you were going. Anyway, while I'm explaining this, Older Barry's tooth flies off and shoots into Younger Barry's mouth. They both fall on the floor. The tooth falls out of Young Barry's mouth. Older Barry picks it up and hands it to Young Barry and is like, "I think you lost a tooth." And then Young Barry puts it back in his mouth And then it's like, oh no, wait, this is your tooth, and hands it back to Old Barry. I know! It's awful, Morgan. I hated it. Yes, it's very gross. That's not even the worst part. And then Older Barry super glues his tooth back on, and you see it, and it's awful. And I got, like, I started licking my teeth because of that shit. I hated it. I'm doing it now. I hate it so much. Oh, God. That's appropriate, yes. Oh, God, that was horrid. The other two aren't as bad. So, the other instance of slight gore is whenever young Barry is trying to you're giving me the ick. Yeah, exactly, Morgan. If I experienced it, you have to as well. The second instance of gore is when when they're in the Russian military base and Barry's trying to dodge bullets or whatever, but he just stands there and he gets shot in the leg, which is honestly a pretty good bit. He's like, "Oh, I got shot. Why did I get shot?" And then older Barry's like, "At what point what made you think that you couldn't get shot?" I finished my art. I do not have a Discord server, but Morgan, if you'll allow me, Captain Morgan here in the chat has a bigger following than I do, and so I'm camping out in her server for the time being. So Morgan, if you or I can do it, either one. If you would like to invite Lilette to your server, that would be wonderful. If you have the link, yes, absolutely, you can DM me on Twitch if you'd like as well, or Twitter.
Oh, by the way,
it don't matter. Yeah.
By the way,
yeah.
the tooth bit pays off in that same scene because after everything is said and done, and with him getting shot and stuff, the tooth does fall back out.
Yeah, it does. Anyway, so yeah, young Barry gets shot. I'll just post it on Twitter. All right, cool. But I mean, you're still more than welcome in Morgan's server by all means. Everyone's very nice there. A bunch of sweeties in that server. Oh, Captain Morgan, I just recognized your name. You were the one who was playing Wizard 101 in Pokemon Mystery Dungeons Explorers of Sky. Heard that. Hell yeah, you did, Morgan. And yes, that's the same Captain Morgan who's the number one, tied for the number one Wizard 101 player on Twitch next to the lovely Valdi, she's doing her own thing right now. I hope she's doing well. Anyway, but yeah. The third instance of ickiness in the movie comes also in that that's okay, and it happens. A lot of people's names are the same color in chat for some reason, and I'm not sure why. Anyway, it comes while they're still in the Russian military silo, and young Barry has to move older Barry, and he moves him at quick speed, but he stops so fast that it makes older Barry puke, and the puke is green, and according to Zabz, it may or may not be stomach bile, and I hate it. I hate it very much. Anyway, going back to whenever Barry wakes up, and after the montage, they're like, alright, let's fucking go. And also,
Keaton.
Thank you. Michael Keaton, Batman. Yes, there you go. Thank you, Morgan. Keaton Batman's ready to go. He's suited up, as is our young Flash and older Flash, which something we forgot to mention is that earlier, whenever older Barry lost his powers and younger Barry got them, Barry gives younger no worries whatsoever. Yeah. Older Barry gives younger Barry his Flash ring, which in that ring is microscopic fibers that expand when exposed to air. And he's so fast. And normally he's so fast that as it pops out, he can change at super speed.
So, like, quick Flash lore, and it's something that after I thought about it for a little bit, I don't think I ever brought it up with you.
I don't think so.
But it infuriates me after I thought about it for a little bit, and it's the fact that even in the comics for at least 30 years now, the Flash stores his costume in his ring. I was at work the other day and I was thinking about this, and like it just popped into my head that how the Flash's costume is in his ring, and I'm just like, why doesn't he store it in his watch? it would make more sense thematically than storing it in his ring, and it'd be more it'd be less conspicuous.
That's true, yeah, it would. But I mean, hey, bling bling. Some people just think he likes the bling. Anyway, so they're ready to go. And is there anything that happens between whenever they get ready and whenever they go to face Zod?
Well, Older Barry gets his costume back.
Yeah,
and,
Older Barry gets his costume back from Younger
To
Barry.
touch on that, what Will was about to talk about.
Who?
Will.
Who now?
What my friend was about to talk about. This is the first slip up, okay?
Yeah, that was
doing pretty good.
yeah. You lasted 2 hours and 14 minutes. Not a bad go of it. Can I add you in my Discord message? Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Lillette. No problem.
Anyways, what Ika here
Thank you.
was about to bring up.
Yes, Mill.
What Ika here was about to bring up was there's a scene earlier in the movie where Older Barry is trying to teach the young Barry how to use his power, so he gives him the costume to help protect him from the friction that generally would be caused by running at such a high speed.
Yes.
So he's like, here, this is the costume. So like he gets him to put it on, and he goes, this is not comfortable. It's very tight on the testicles.
On the testicles.
And he's like, and then that's when Zod attacks, and he's like, take the costume off, and young Barry's like, thank God.
I just realized the chat won't show up on stream. Is it showing up for y'all at all? Like on the actual stream itself? Because for some reason it's not showing up for me. And I can't believe I just noticed that. Oh, that sucks, man. That'd be alright. I usually read off all the chat anyway, so it's alright. Oh, nope. That's okay. Like I said, I've been reading off all the messages anyway.
But that means they can't see the links.
I'm only worried about the chat appearing on screen for VOD purposes. They won't be able to access the link via the VOD, but everyone else sees chat down here. So normally whenever you're in a Twitch chat, you see the screen itself, and then right below it or right beside of it is this chat that you can actually type in, and it's actually optional whether or not you have a chat showing up on screen itself. On the stream itself.
It's not a super fast chat stream, so I mean it's easy to follow.
It is easy to follow, yeah. That is one positive. I don't know why it suddenly stopped working for some reason. Anyway, I'll fix it later. So with their semi-complete, and by complete we mean 1/3 complete Justice League, they go to confront Zod in the desert.
Yeah, they fight in the desert.
It's just kind of in a desert area.
The battle's already started. The U.S. military is fighting the Kryptonians.
Yes, and they're getting their asses handed to them. The Earthlings are, and they kind of come in. Bruce comes in in his bat jet, which is fucking rad. The two Flashes are actually really cool to see fight together, because you see Older Barry teaching Younger Barry how to work his powers. And one thing that they actually bring up in the middle of the fight is that so Younger Barry's using hope you like it, broski. I'm sure I will. Hold on.
The Younger Barry, when they get to the battle, the Younger Barry is very scared, and he's like, what if I can't? They're Kryptonians. Look at them. They're monsters. What if I can't do anything? And Older Barry gives them a pep talk. And then they have to point out the one that's based off of Nom.
What?
So there is usually when you have Zod, you have two other Kryptonians that are synonymous with them.
That's right. In the original, I think was it the third Superman movie, or was it the second?
Second.
In the second 1980s Superman movie,
the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Who was originally portrayed by Christopher Reeves, which is, for comic book fans, it's very famous. For a lot of more modern fans, not many people know about it, but I've been told it's very good. Anyway, in the original appearance of Zod, I'll be honest, he looked like the fucking Nostalgia Critic, and it was really funny.
Yeah, Doug takes advantage of that, too, so, just pull up Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve Superman. Yeah, there he is.
He is the iconic Superman.
Yeah, he is the iconic Superman. Big time. And let me show y'all Zod as he originally appeared before he was played by Joaquin Phoenix?
No.
No, that wasn't Joaquin
But
Phoenix.
there's the
Yeah.
Kryptonian I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's original Zod, who looks like fucking Nostalgia Critic. He's the one who broke his back horseback riding?
Yes, he did.
Sure, I didn't know that about the actor. Neat.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve, in the 90s, on his private estate, was riding a horse, and the horse stopped too quickly. He fell off and broke his back and became a paraplegic. That was actually near where I used to live at the time.
You're talking about the Superman that fell off a horse.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Zod's actor fell off a horse.
No.
That's my bad.
No. Anyways, Quentin makes a joke about the giant Kryptonian
Quentin Reviews, the YouTuber.
Terrence Stamps, and yes, Christopher Reeve passed away more than a couple years ago, and it was unfortunate.
Yes.
But he founded a lot of foundations for people with disabilities, and anyways. So Nom is the name of this ginormous Kryptonian juggernaut.
Bitch.
Who does not look as big in the older versions of the movie, but is literally like a 10-foot tall monster.
Yes. Also, that's new Zod. I don't remember that actor's name. You gonna look it up? All right, cool. In the meantime, I will. His name is Nom.
Yeah.
Nom. I probably misspelled that, but still. He passed away in the last couple of years. Okay. I'm not getting anything on Nom. I just realized I spelled Christopher as Christover. My Twitch broke. What happened? We were talking about Christopher Reeve Superman and how his actor Christopher Reeves fell off a horse and he became a paraplegic and he died a few years ago, I think.
The Man of Steel Zod is played by Michael Shannon.
That's it. Man of Steel Zod is played by Michael Shannon.
So the
we were also looking at the original guy who the original. Let me start over. The original guy who played Zod, which looks like the Nostalgia Critic if you've ever seen him before. He looks like fucking Doug Walker, and he looks like Quentin Reviews.
That's literally what the joke was with Quentin Reviews. He's like, I look like Terrence Stamp, but you don't look at me trying to get a Nom standalone movie. Because that was in his review of To Boldly Flee.
That's right. I remember that. I should fucking kill him. It looks like Quentin's dad.
But anyways, the four Kryptonians that usually get the three Kryptonians that usually get named as villains are Zod, Fiora, and Nom.
Yes, and I just realized that was them that showed up in the Flash movie.
Yeah.
Did they show up in the Man of Steel as well?
Yes.
Oh fuck, they weren't even named, were they?
Not in the Flash movie. In Man of Steel, they were.
Oh, okay.
Well, not Nom, but Fiora was.
Okay, cool. But yes, in the Flash movie, a modern version of this guy, who's just a big old boy, is just wrecking shop, and so a lot of stuff happens in this battle. I think it'd be best to just mention. Oh, N-O-N. I thought you were saying N-O-M as in mouse.
No.
Well. Anyway. So we're gonna give the highlights of this battle. One of my favorite parts is so younger Barry is told by older Barry that he has to nom nom nom. Exactly, Morgan.
No, he figures out that he can shoot lightning out of his hands.
I was about to explain that because older Barry explains to younger Barry that he has to slow down sometimes, otherwise the friction built up in the suit is gonna build up too high and something bad may happen, and he'll have to figure out a way to discharge that energy. And whenever that bit comes up in the fight, he's like, "What do I do?" He's like, "You have to discharge it somehow." And then he looks to like one of the grunts that he's fighting. He's like, "Dude," I'm gonna Palpatine him, and he fucking does the fucking Star Wars Episode 6 outsplayed fingers and just fucking electrocutes a guy.
Yeah, but he almost kills himself in the process because of the kickback. And then Barry's
he almost kills himself in the process because of the kickback. And Barry, I don't mean to like step on you. I'm just really excited about explaining this. And Barry's like, cool idea. Just you need to find a way to complete the circuit so you don't die. And they form like it's really hard. It's
they make like a triangle with their hands.
Yeah, they make like a triangle. It almost reminds me of like a more clumsy Psybeam from Dragon Ball. That one
Tri-beam.
Yeah, Tri. Did I say Psybeam?
Yeah.
My bad. It looks like a Tri-beam from Dragon Ball. But yeah, he does that. He's like, whoa, that's so cool. As the fight goes on, though, slowly one by one, each of our heroes is defeated, except for the two berries. So Kara Kara gets defeated by Zod. Some kind of spark thing is what?
First.
Yeah, sorry.
First we have to establish the fact that she talks to Zod briefly before Zod brutally kills her. And she asks about Kal-El. Where did Kal-El go? And he goes, well, we intercepted the child before he landed on the planet. He did not have the Codex, and the Codex is this thing in this particular version of Superman's universe that holds the DNA to all Kryptonians so they can start over again on another planet. It's like a Noah's Ark for their race.
Yes.
And it's built into the DNA in the original line of events, it's built into the DNA of Clark. And in this version, they still think it's Clark. But Zod gets him while he's a baby, and they essentially kill him, extracting his blood. So this Zod has no qualms with killing infants.
Yep.
And that's how we find out that in this version of events, Kara is the one who is the Codex. Really? Kara is the one who is the Codex. So they get into
he looking at me.
So they get into a little fight, and then she ends up getting stabbed.
Yes.
And they use a machine to extract the Codex from her, and this kills her.
Yep.
And then
young Barry gets real upset about that because it's like real obvious that he has a crush on Kara-Zell, which fair play.
And then Batman goes full suicide bomber trying to take out one of their ships, only for it not to work.
Yep. And then the two berries are like, oh fuck. And then I forget who. I think it's Younger Barry that accidentally goes into.
Well, the Younger Barry brings up. He's just like, well, we could just run back in time and stop him from dying, right? Yeah. And the older Barry's like, no, that's what caused this mess to begin with.
Yeah, we have to not do that. And then Younger Barry,
he's like,
throughout this entire movie, has the solution is obviously time traveling. I know, right, Anne? Time traveling got you into this mess. Alcohol made you drunk. What can make you not drunk? More alcohol. Anyway, throughout this entire movie, it's been just go back in time and put the tomato can back. You're getting ahead of yourself, Anne. Hold on. Anyway, so throughout this entire movie, young Barry has been interrupting older Barry a lot. Never let him finishing like important explanations. And it sort of comes to a head, or it comes to its like natural conclusion whenever younger Barry ignores older Barry about being like, no, we can't time travel. That's what got us into this mess in the first place. And younger Barry is like, nope. And he goes onto the time bowl.
Yeah, the Chrono Bowl.
That's the Chrono Bowl.
Because like older Barry's like, you're not even fast enough anyways, and he's like,
he's like, fucking what? I'll show you.
Yeah, and then he goes back into the Chrono Bowl, and at first the older Barry kind of humors him a little bit and helps him go back, and they, try to see if there's any other ways that they can resolve this.
At first, they're like, at first it seems like it's going to work, but then for me personally, as soon as it didn't work, as soon as it failed the second time, I was like, oh, okay, I see. Younger Barry, so they keep trying multiple times to prevent Kara and Bruce from dying, and subsequently the world. But also, I think it was like the third time where young Barry gets this like piece of shrapnel stuck in his arm.
It's the fourth time for young Barry because older Barry just stays in the Chrono Bowl.
That's right, yeah. And young Barry comes back with like a fucking piece of shrapnel sticking out of his arm, and it looks like like an extra claw that extends from his arm. He's like, oh, I could use this, haha.
Well, he does use it to kill Fura. And that's when he thinks he can use it to kill Zod. But every time he tries to do that with Zod, Zod just kind of manhandles him, throws him away.
Yep, and he always kills Kara, and Older Barry just stops and watches and tries to stop Younger Barry from continuously repeating and going back in time so much. And as he goes back in time, we start to see we start to see more and more shrapnel accumulate onto Younger Barry until
Now you can bring up Dark Flash.
yes until not Flash movie, until we see until this thing that and then Older Barry learns that some things just can't be changed and realizes he has to let the past play out as it should have.
Well,
no, hold on. And again, you're getting ahead of yourself. One step at a time. So earlier in the movie, for those who sort of joined in later, what forced Barry back into 2013 as opposed to present time was this thing just sort of popping out of fucking nowhere and booting him out of the Chrono Bowl. And we see hints of him in various parts throughout the movie. He shows up whenever a lot of shrapnel is starting to accumulate on Younger Barry. I know, right, Morgan? Pretty. We see
I think that one is a picture of where you find out who he is right there.
this or this?
That one.
Oh, okay, but not yet. You start to see similarities in the shrapnel patterns of Young Barry and this sort of creature thing. And then Older Barry starts to get it, and it's real blurry, but it is revealed that this thing that kicked him out of the time portal, of the Chrono Bowl, is Younger Barry, but from like a previous time, and this whole time he has been running, trying to change and keep his dimension from dying. But he also explains that, but also older Younger Barry, which this is going to get real confusing, so we're just going to call him Dark Flash. Younger Barry turns into Dark Flash. Dark Flash explains that he had to have Original Flash create him.
Yes. Essentially, it's like the bootstrap paradox. If you know what that is, okay, the bootstrap paradox is, in a nutshell, the thing only happens because someone went back and did the thing. There's an example in Doctor Who that has to do with Beethoven's works. Like the Song of Storms.
Okay, yeah. Anne actually brought up a better example, and this might be a little more easy to understand. But in Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, the way that you acquire the Song of Storms is going into this windmill, and you see this guy on a hurdy-gurdy who is playing the Song of Storms. But you can only get the song as an adult. So you go into the windmill as an adult, and you see this angry man. He's not angry yet. You pull out your ocarina, and he's like, "What the hell? Where'd you get that? That reminds me of this one bratty-ass kid who ruined this windmill. He walked in here one day and played this fucking song. Here, let me play it for you now." And he teaches you the Song of Storms. Well, if you go back in time, as young Link, the windmill's not broken yet. But once you play the Song of Storms inside the windmill goes like crazy fast, and it drains the well that's associated with it. And, therefore, young Link taught the windmill guy the Song of Storms, but he only learned the Song of Storms because adult Link went back in time to teach it to him in the first place. Which makes it a paradox.
Anyways, the reason why the Dark Flash did this is so he could have more time to try to figure out how to save Bruce and Kara in that particular moment, which he has spent, like, at this point, 40 years of his own personal time trying to do.
Yes, and when the younger version of himself, which is original Young Flash, sees this, he's like, "What the fuck?" And Dark Flash is just about to. Oh yeah, the true origin of the song is unknown. It's a paradox that feeds on itself, where one can't exist without the other. Exactly, Anne, and that's what's happening with Dark Flash. And also, that's also how he's defeated, because Dark Flash goes to kill original Barry in the Chrono Bowl, which I forget why Barry is stopped.
I mean, at this particular point, because he's trying to get the younger version of himself to realize that no matter what they do, they can't save Kara and Bruce.
Yeah, and then Dark Flash reveals himself.
Yeah, and he's like, I just need a little bit more time. You don't understand. I almost have it.
Yep.
I just need a little bit more time.
Yes.
Which again circles back around to the moral of the movie here.
And the metaphor that was laid out by Barry's mom before she died.
Some things just don't have an answer, and you have to accept that.
Yep. So, not every problem has a solution, and you have to live with it. And hold on, I almost got it. My train of thought flew off the tracks for a second. Yes, Dark Flash goes to kill original Barry, but young Barry jumps in the way, sacrificing himself. And because Dark Flash is actually younger Barry, both he is destroyed, but also while this is happening, before this, Dark Flash explains that the multiverse is tearing itself apart, and the camera zooms out of the Chrono Bowl to reveal that they're in their own, like, orb of time travel, and around them is a bunch of other orbs of time travel full of alternate universes. And this includes, like, the Christopher Reeves Superman universe, and a few other ones that I don't quite remember off the top of my head. But one of them in particular is a reference to a Superman movie that was never made, but was written by Kevin Smith, aka Silent Bob of Jay and Silent Bob, of a 90s Superman movie in which Superman would have been played by Nicolas fucking Cage. And in that movie, the producer saw the script that Kevin Smith had initially wrote. He's like, all right, this is cool, but I really want him to fight a giant spider. Like, he was all over it. He really wanted him to fight a giant spider, and like he was practically obsessed with it. Kevin was fired as a writer, and a whole bunch of like production issues happened where the movie never got made. However, in one of those time bubbles that I had previously mentioned, we zoom in and we see a full sequence of Superman as portrayed by Nicolas Cage fighting a giant spider. And he fucking beats it. And it is so cathartic to see. It's so fucking funny. It's a relatively obscure reference, and most people who see it are gonna be like, "What the fuck? Why is Nicolas Cage's Superman?" Sorry, I keep getting phlegmy.
But the first reference that we get, not Matt Reeves.
What are you thinking of?
The very first reference that we get in the movie when it comes to the Chrono Bowl scene.
That's right. We see the original version of Flash, right?
No, it's the George Reeves Superman universe, the black and white Superman.
That's
and it's
right,
like
yes.
it's the whole look up in the sky.
It's a bird, it's a plane, yeah.
And then it cuts to the Adam West Batman universe.
That's right, yeah.
And then like you hear the Joker laughing in the background, and then it shows the Nicolas Cage Superman universe.
Yep.
And it has the Christopher Reeve Superman
alongside the Christopher Reeves verse Supergirl.
Which the actress for that, she actually came back and did reshoots for that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
But like all of them can see these events unfolding. Like there's a hole in their universe where they can see what the Dark Flash and the regular Flash are doing.
Yes.
In the Chrono Bowl, because the realities are essentially crashing together.
Yep.
And
after Nicolas Cage Superman beats the giant spider, he looks up to see the hole in his universe.
Yeah, and then there's a cameo. It's not really a cameo because it's not actually an actor. A lot of people thought it was a Teddy Sears.
Wait, the Nicolas Cage one was all CG though.
Well, he didn't actually. No, he did. He did reshoots for that. They just put a thing over top of it to make it look like that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so type in Teddy Sears Jay Garrick.
SEAR.
Close enough. See, right there it is.
Jay Garrick.
People thought that this was the cameo in the movies because it looks like him, but it was just a random CGI thing. But it was essentially that's what his outfit looked like in the movie, right there. This particular version of the Flash.
Why don't we just type in Jay Garrick? Fuck. Why don't we just type in Jay Garrick Flash?
Because that's not the. I mean, you'll get Jay Garrick, but there are multiple versions of Jay Garrick. This is the closest costume to the one that was in the movie.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing that popped out to me was that iconic World War I helmet.
But it's the whole leather jacket that makes it look like a 1940s kind of aesthetic. And you can still see the lightning bolt. Yeah. And that's the version that they used for the Jay Garrick cameo in the movie, even though they did not base it on any particular actor.
Got it.
But a lot of people thought it looked so much like Teddy Sears from the Flash show that people were asking him about it. Yeah. And he just kind of like, no, that wasn't me.
That wasn't me. Fuck off. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, after that series of cameos that was honestly well worth the fucking wait, it was absolutely fantastic. That's when that's when Dark Flash / older younger Barry goes to try to kill original Barry, and younger Barry steps in and takes the hit, which destroys both of them, and it heals the holes that are in the universes, and the universes start to separate out again, and they are prevented from colliding. And now, original Barry has his moment, and he goes back to where he initially saved his mom, and oh my god, this is the most heart-wrenching moment in the fucking movie. I teared up. It was very sweet, very sad. So he goes back, and he has to... Well, he willingly does this, but he goes back and, like, he takes the can of tomato soup that led to her death, which out of context, that sounds hilarious, but it's not important right now. He essentially takes out the item from her shopping cart that kept her from making the dinner that she needed, which in the original version she sent her husband to the store to get it, which left her in the kitchen alone to get murdered. Anyway, Barry puts the can of tomatoes back on the shelf. He goes back to the cereal aisle where his mom is standing, and he has time run regular forward again, because throughout that time he'd gone into flash vision, I think you said?
Flash time.
Yeah, flash time, where everything slows down to a crawl so he can think. He goes back to regular movement time, and he is, like, looking at his mom crying, and his mom is like, "Are you okay?" Like, his mom is, like, the sweetest fucking lady in the world. She's like, "I don't know why, but do you want a hug?" And so Barry gets to hug his mom one last time before before her inevitable death, and, like,
he uses flash time one more time to make that moment last just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Where she has her hand on his face.
Yep.
And he says, "I'm sorry, Mom."
Yep.
And then he just disappears.
Yep, he disappears. And then the events play out as they're supposed to. She dies.
But he does...
there's one last thing that he changes.
Because he realizes something.
He realizes something. For context of those who didn't come in earlier whenever we were talking about earlier events in the movie, Barry's dad was blamed for his mother's death because at the time his fingerprints were on the knife, even though earlier that day she had told him to go to the store to pick up a can of tomatoes. And in the security footage, while you technically see him, he doesn't raise his head, so you can't see his face.
Well, because the brand of tomatoes that she wanted is on a lower shelf.
It's on a lower shelf, and what Barry does at the end of the movie is that he moves the can of tomatoes that he needs to the top shelf, so that in the video footage, in court, they're like, it gets to the court date, and they show the video evidence, and it shows Barry's dad looking up so the security camera can see his face, and Barry's dad is fully exonerated. And thinking that this won't change that much, because apparently he didn't learn his fucking lesson the first time.
Well, No, see,
What?
the thought process is that, see, because the camera footage was too messed up initially
Yeah.
for them to be able to use it in court up until the point where the movie started.
And then Ben Affleck, Bruce, zhuzhed it up for him.
And fixed it, and then they still couldn't use it because he never looked up. So Barry is like, well, if I just change this one thing, it won't affect anything until I get back to my time point, because that's when the camera's going to get fixed.
Yes, but I still don't understand his logic for why he tried to mess with time again.
Because he felt like it was something that would be small enough that the effects wouldn't be felt until he got the that fixed, because it doesn't change anything else about the timeline. His dad still went to the store to get the. It was just that they were on the different shelf that time.
Got it. So it's something much. It's preventing a death versus preventing someone from going to the store. Or I said that wrong.
No, it fundamentally doesn't change anything in the flow of time up to the point of the trial with the fixed footage.
Yes, that's true. It's something so minute that it won't matter for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that was his line of thinking.
Okay.
That if you do change something so small that it has the least amount of impact.
Yes.
And that's what he does. And when he gets back to the current time,
They win the court case. His dad is set free, and he gets a visit from. He's on the phone with Bruce, and he's like, "Hey, so that thing the thing you said about time travel, you were totally right. I totally messed up, but I fixed it. It's all good now." And Bruce pulls up in his car, and out Barry. This won't change anything, right? Universe implodes. No, absolutely not. What happens is even funnier. Bruce meets up with him at the courthouse, and out steps fucking George Clooney as Bruce Wayne.
yeah, and then like Barry, first of all, there's paparazzis around him, so Barry doesn't see him at first. And then when he gets to Barry, and you see that it's George Clooney, Barry drops the one F-bomb in the entire movie, and he goes, "Who the fuck is this?"
That's right, he does drop an F-bomb. That's very funny.
And he's just like, and the George Clooney Bruce Wayne is just like, "Barry, it's me." And he goes, "Oh no, it's still," he's like, "How much is still wrong?" And that's where the movie ends.
Yeah, and then we get an end credit scene where it turns out that this version of Aquaman is weaker than the original Aquaman, because apparently in the original Aquaman can drink alcohol like a fish and not get drunk, whereas the new version of Aquaman it can get drunk, I guess.
Yeah, the end credit scene is Barry and Arthur, Aquaman, in a bar, and he's trying to explain basically the events of the movies to him.
But Aquaman's just fucking
And
plastered.
he is sloshed off of his ass.
I love the term sloshed. It's so silly.
He's like, "You're kind of drunk, aren't you, Barry?" And he goes, "No, I can't get drunk." And he goes, "I can't either." He's just like, yeah, sure. And he's trying to take him to his apartment at this point, because he's just done.
Absolutely
Aquaman's just done, and he falls and he lands in a puddle, and Barry's like, "Dude, we're like right here at my apartment." And he goes, No, I'm fine.
And he puts himself face down in the puddle with bubbles popping up. At first, I thought it was because he never became Aquaman.
No, Aquaman it's in his DNA, it's his heritage thing.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. And then he pulls a ring off, and he's like, "Pay my tab with this." And Barry goes, "This is priceless Atlantean jewelry." He's like, "Make sure you tell them that."
Make sure you tell them that. And then he flops down in the puddle, and that's the end of the movie. That movie The Flash was so much fun. It was such a fun... It had a good mix of humor and very heartfelt messages. Especially the main message of the movie of, some things don't have an answer, you can't fix everything. And that's gonna, punch a lot of control freaks in the face. I hope that helps a lot of people like that.
It also kind of retroactively sets up some lore.
Yeah?
Because Kara explains that her pod and Superman's pod were shot out at the same time, but in this version of events, his pod never made it to Earth, but hers did.
Yes.
So this sets up that in the main universe timeline, Supergirl still exists. That version of Supergirl in particular still exists.
Well, so remind me why that makes sense.
Because she establishes that they both left Krypton at the same time. This was something that was not affected by him. Like this, that theoretically
okay,
would not have been
so it's
affected.
canon throughout the multiverse that they both left Krypton at the same time.
Yeah, even in the comics, when Supergirl's introduced, it is said that she was sent at the same time. It's just that she aged at a slower rate because her pod was kind of damaged a little bit, and so she was locked in stasis. Where after he landed, he grew up. Anyways, so theoretically, if they wanted to, they could still bring her into this version of the timeline without it making not that much,
Yeah, it makes a little bit. Makes a little bit of sense. Makes a little bit of sense because they set it up in the Flash. It is. We have been going almost 3 hours. We've been going for 2 hours and 49 minutes and counting. Do you have anything else to add? Only 3 or 4 other things. No kidding.
Well, we kind of skipped over the main opening, which is
well, that's because it wasn't of importance other than to show us how Barry's powers work.
Well,
honestly, I had my headphones and listening to music for most of that scene.
I do like it literally took like 2 seconds for the logos to pop up on the screen.
Yeah.
And the opening bit is Barry being late for his job, and he's going to this cafe to get his sandwich.
Yeah, and the lady who usually takes his order and does it really fast isn't there, and so this one obnoxious slow dude is there, and he's like real obnoxious about how fast Barry wants to be, but it's like it's clear that he's late. This guy has no empathy whatsoever, and so he goes to make the sandwich, and as he's waiting, Bruce mentions that there's an issue downtown. Well, no. Alfred mentions that there's an issue downtown.
Well, anyway, so by the time this guy gets done making his sandwich, Barry has enough time to run to Gotham, help Batman catch a terrorist, and save a ward full of babies and a nurse from falling out of an 8th-story window.
And a safety, and a emotional support dog.
Which is also where we get our cameo from the Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and she catches Batman and the terrorist from falling off a bridge.
Oh yeah.
And then Batman's still tangled up in her lasso. So like the terrorist is like, I'm only doing this for attention because I have emotional issues. And then Bruce is like, yes.
That's why I'm doing this as well.
He's like, that's why I dress up as a bat, because I have unresolved issues about my parents' death. And he looks down and he's trying to untangle the lasso the whole time while running his mouth about things like his insecurities and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So that was like the opening bit, and that's really wasn't much else. Hopefully next time we'll do this about Blue Beetle.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited for that. Even about. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna see who's still streaming. Hey, Tetra's still going. We're gonna raid Tetra, and it looks he's playing Final Fantasy 16. I hope he's enjoying it. But yes, I'm not excited for Kraven. Kraven the Hunter. What's he gonna be in?
His own movie.
His own? I thought he was going to be the villain in another superhero movie.
No, Kraven has his own movie.
Ugh.
They're doing the same thing they did with Morbius.
Fucking Morbin time. Anyway, thank you all for showing up, and thank you, Morgan, for staying this long. I appreciate it. I gotta go take a bath and clean. Alright, and go. That's why I'm not live right now, because he got that game. I mean, that's fair. He's gonna be drowning in 14. Drowning in 16. Don't take that out of context. For days. I like hanging out in your chat. Oh, thank you. I don't know what I'm gonna do next Thursday, but next Tuesday's PS2 showcase continues, and I've already taken a picture of the lineup for next week, and I'll post that on Discord and Twitter at some point. Thank you all, and I'm gonna raid Tetra VTuber. I hope I spelled that right. Hello? Did it work? Apparently not. Oh, it's no space. Raid. Tetra. VTuber. There it is. Okay. Thank you, everyone who showed up. This was so much fun. I don't think I've ever laughed this. I don't think I've laughed this hard in a while. This was fucking awesome. And go say hi to Tetra. I'm sure Morgan will. Go say hi to your fiance for me, Morgan. See y'all later. Oh, there's the chat. God damn.